in Odyssey Sports Station.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
Yeah, the NBA trade deadline is coming up on Thursday afternoon. Reports say James Harden and the Clippers working on trying to do a deal with somebody. Shams Charania of ESPN on a certain team that could be in the mix.
LA Clippers and 11-time All-Star James Harden are working through whether they can find a trade for Harden out of LA by Thursday's NBA trade deadline. And one of the teams that has jumped out as among the most interested teams for Harden right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell, obviously championship expectations, and James Harden has the power in all this. He has a no-trade clause.
The 36-year-old's missed the last two games because of personal reasons. Reports say the Cavs have had interest in Harden going back to December. Potential deal could involve Darius Garland. The Cavs face the Clippers in L.A. tomorrow night. Browns introducing Tom Monken as the new head coach this afternoon in Berea. Monken returns to Cleveland. He was the Browns' offensive coordinator back in 2019. Most recently, Monken was the Ravens OC. Catch the press conference today at noon live right here on 92.3 The Fan. Patriots and Seahawks partook in NFL opening night last night in San Jose. Getting ready for Super Bowl 60. New England quarterback Drake May says his right shoulder's feeling good after he got injured during the victory against Denver in the AFC Championship game. Catch Super Bowl 60 Sunday right here on 92.3 The Fan. Tonight, don't miss the NFL Pro Bowl games, courtesy of Western One. Coverage begins this evening at 7:30 right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next, time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
If you need to make a beer run this weekend, relax. You won't miss a moment of the action. We are the radio home of the Super Bowl. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
We keep hearing about the Cavs. Oh, they're going to take big swings. They're going to take big swings. They're going to take a big swing. And I'm like, I don't know how they can make a big swing. I don't know how they can take a big swing. I with the second apron, I mean, the way it's almost explained to me, again, you can match up salary, but you have to have a team that wants your undersized guard. And so because we do this so often, it makes me not want to discuss trading Darius Garland, because I don't want to say a bunch of reasons to trade Darius Garland and then at the same time have to battle the people who think that this team is far better without Darius Garland on the floor.
LA Clippers and 11-time All-Star James Harden are working through whether they can find a trade for Harden out of LA by Thursday's NBA trade deadline. And one of the teams that has jumped out as among the most interested teams for Harden right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell, obviously championship expectations, and James Harden has the power in all this. He has a no-trade clause.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of ESPN. Well, you want James Harden or not? 216-474-0092. Way out with it. Let's go.
I am kind of stunned.
Out with it.
Obviously, we're chasing the wrong big name, apparently.
Oh, my goodness.
With all the Giannis talks.
Woo.
And, yesterday, more and more of the national NBA people, they kept saying the Cavs are sniffing. Cavs are definitely doing almost more than sniffing around for a big trade. So, of course, we're thinking Giannis. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, to some extent, I brought up Michael Porter Jr. yesterday on the show. Trey Murphy was another name. But did that rise to the occasion of the level of speculation that started to really amp up when it came to the Cavs? And so that comes out overnight. Chris Mannix had a bunch of thoughts. Mannix even went so far as to update the potential terms of a deal. And when that happened, I'm like, oh, this is happening, isn't it? Like, the Cavs are really going to make this bombshell trade. And that's exactly what this would be. The Hunter trade was just a precursor, was just an appetizer, apparently, to a bigger move. And it makes you think, if this is so out in the open with Darius, is there any turning back?
Well, what do you mean, is there any turning back? What, he'll get upset and that'll be the end of it?
That if you are this all in, where the leaks that are coming out are actual alterations to a deal that's already been discussed and negotiated between the two sides. And mind you, the Clippers, did they play last night? And
they did.
James Harden was out with, quote, personal reasons.
So what were the personal reasons?
Well, this just makes you think this is like we're at the final stage. We're at the final kind of discussions between these two teams.
I got a feeling it might be happening. And I got a feeling that not a lot of people are thrilled about it right now. There's a lot of people who don't like James Harden.
Yeah.
What I think this shows you, well, all right, first off, would you do the deal?
I don't think so. No.
You
And
wouldn't?
James is having just from a scoring perspective, he's having a big year. I can't get out of my mind all the same stuff, by the way, that I say about Darius in the playoffs. Okay, James has had big moments in the playoffs, but he's also had some of the most famous choke job moments in modern day NBA history for a guard with the ball in his hands.
What's my alternative? What is my alternative? Is there another move I can make before now and Thursday afternoon?
I think the alternative is praying that whatever Rube Goldberg machine they put in his his shoes, because now we've got 2 specialty shoes that apparently he has and he has to play in.
I'm not going to tell you guys that you're silly or anything like that. I do this very apprehensively. If you're telling me there's no other move, then I guess I got to do what I got to do. And I got to make this move.
You have to make it?
I think I have to, because I think this move is telling me that, I hope I'm overthinking it. I think this move is telling us all that, I mean, this is a strong move, right? This is a very strong move. And it might be even seen as, I think a lot of people see it as foolhardy and relatively crazy. But I think that they're telling you, without telling you right now, and I mean, Kobe kind of spoke about it a little bit. This is it. This is the put up. This is now becoming the put up or shut up year. That if you don't get to where you need to go, Donovan's going to be a very unhappy person. And if Donovan becomes an unhappy person and wants out, that's it. So I think that this is what they're telling you. So now it does become desperate times call for desperate measures. And I don't trust James Harden as far as I can throw him. I don't even think I can pick him up. The way this chair is going on my back right now, I got to tell you. But that's kind of where I'm at. I might be left in this spot where, Darius has been – the Cavs are not better without Darius. It's always been the question, are the Cavs better without Darius but with X? Who is that person? Giannis, without a doubt, okay? James Harden is 10 years older. James Harden does have very famous postseason choke jobs. James Harden is sturdy. James Harden is naturally a better basketball player, you would imagine. Is that a upsetting thing to say?
No, James has been better.
So he is a naturally better player.
I mean, we're talking about an MVP candidate.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not overstepping my bounds.
Darius is never sniffing that.
And I think they're telling you that, guys, I think we just hit the fast forward button. I think this is it. I think this season's the end of it. I think they look at a wide open Eastern Conference, and you're hearing about the Sixers snooping around or sniffing around Giannis. You're hearing about the Knicks and everybody. The Knicks are always, I mean, it doesn't matter. People are going to say the Knicks. I mean, you're hearing about people sniffing around Giannis in the Eastern Conference. And I don't think that Dan Gilbert is going to just stand by and look at this and think that it's just okay to kick it to next year when you're in the second apron and you're the most expensive roster in the NBA. So while I'm not a big fan of James Harden. I understand the reasoning, even though it seems crazy. I understand the reasoning behind it. And if I can't find somebody better, then I guess I have to make this move. I'm sorry. 216-474-0092.
Wow, it's incredible. So just to
doesn't feel good.
Help people understand the contract situation.
You should see my face right now on YouTube Live. It doesn't feel good because I'm assuming that there has been some very nasty things. It's 6 a.m. Things can change, guys. I woke up in the middle of the night. My wife was throwing up. Probably the happiest I've ever been. Then my wife's woken me up throwing up because I woke up to this news, right? And it's 6 a.m. Things can change. I know I am putting words and ideas in Donovan Mitchell's head or in Donovan Mitchell's mouth that he's never said, and he will flat out deny before or after they play the Clippers tomorrow, which is as wild as it gets that they're playing the Clippers tomorrow. Let me just say this. I'm putting a lot of thoughts out there. But because they are so aggressive in a 36-year-old player that has been at times one of the most electrifying players in the NBA, but also one of the biggest malcontents in the NBA, a guy who seemingly controls his own body weight, depending on whether or not he wants to play for somebody, which shows you just how good of a player he is if you can do something like that. Because let me tell you, that is a slippery slope, my friend, if you want to sit there and start to gorge yourself and think you're going to make up for it on the back end. He has been an incredible player in the past, but he's also been an incredible pain in the ass for franchises that he's been with. And I know Daryl Morey isn't necessarily the most trustworthy guy. So maybe I have to adjust some of this, but now I just have to assume, because it's been crazy with the Cavs before, that things are getting nuts. So if this is a put up or shut up year, I might as well damn the torpedoes, and away we go.
A couple things
so
here.
I have to support a trade like this.
Yeah, the contract situation is Darius has, and he's been eligible for an extension.
You're freeing up like $100 million bucks.
He has $42 million next year, almost $45 the year after, and then he is a free agent. So he's obviously up for extension. And he's already kind of past the beginning of that window. So you wonder what does Darius, what does him and his team think about that? Then, especially with, everybody else getting taken care of, and the Cavs have the highest payroll, in the NBA, and they're the second apron, all that stuff. Then James Harden's situation is just a player option for next year at $42 million, which I assume he would be picking up. But there have been some times in his career where he kind of got screwed on one end of these, and then on the other end, it's like, I can make up that money. So I guess you never truly know, but then he's an unrestricted free agent the following year. So potentially, there's one, I guess depending on if he went on an amazing playoff run, he'd be like, I'm going to have to sign a new contract. But right now, player option of $42 million next year. As far as, who has James Harden been this year? Like he's actually been playing really well. Like he's never going to be the most at this stage, the most efficient scorer or anything like that. But he's got a bunch of 30-point games. He's got a bunch of 10, 11, 12 assist games. Mm-hmm. He's played very well. I think at this stage, at 36 years old for James Harden, I think he has played really well, and obviously way better than Darius. He's been available, this season, while Darius unfortunately has not been available.
Is more sturdy.
I mean, he started all 44 games that he's played in.
Mm-hmm. 216-474-0092. I know a lot of you are just waking up. I think a lot of you might be surprised hearing such a tale of whimsy that there could be a possible trade here with James Harden. I can't believe I'm saying this, possibly coming to the Cleveland Cavaliers in exchange for, I think the Cavs are trying to get some draft picks out of him. Again, this is breaking overnight. This is just hours old here. And I think it's a little bit, I want people to get their bearings first, think about this. Right now, the reaction to people who have been like third shifters who are still working right now has not been positive. They do not want to trade for James Harden. And guys, I understand this. But I think they're telling you things without telling you things, that this is the end. So I have to ask the question: do you think that they are an NBA Finals contender? Because you're not making this move with the intention of just going to the second round again. Are they currently an NBA Finals contender? I think you would say no. Are they a contender with James Harden though? Are they a contender Are they a contender to go to the finals? Because the West is the West again. They were not the West for like 2 years, and now the West is the West again. Your goal is really just to get to the finals, and then we'll see what happens. And maybe you're thinking James Harden in the finals, if healthy, but he's been healthy. He would help them to maybe get over the hump against a Oklahoma City or someone else from the West. Do you think that with James Harden they can go to the NBA Finals?
Well, look, in the Eastern Conference,
do you think they can go to the NBA Finals with how they currently are?
I think this is going to sound like such a cop-out, but I think
it's starting to sound like a cop-out.
But one of the things I think that Kobe Altman was telling you, with his statement the other day, is the East is wide open. Nothing's changed this year when it comes to that. The East is unbelievably wide open. None of these teams at any point seem like they have taken a huge step forward. So their chances are right along the lines of everybody else, because who would you pick over them right now? Now, I said yesterday,
the Cavs
I
would
East? Still say the Knicks, but go ask anybody in New York. They're like, oh, my God, our team is incredibly flawed. And go ask anybody in Philadelphia. Go ask Boston.
I still
and
wonder
they don't
about
know
Boston.
if Jason Tatum is going to be available. Go ask Toronto, the team I think we're tied with right now or whatever, right around the Toronto Raptors. I know
You're both 30 and 21.
I know they've beaten us three times, but ask people in Toronto, do they think they're going to the... So if you do this in the aggregate, every single team, that, if they hold steady, I think probably the toughest jump to come to is that Darius is going to be healthy throughout this whole thing. And if he's not healthy, they're probably not going to the finals.
See, I was going to be nasty to you, and I was going to say I didn't ask for what Kobe might be thinking. I want to know what Anthony Lima is thinking right now. And you just gave it to me.
I mean, obviously, I have my doubts anyway with Darius in the playoffs when he's healthy.
We all do.
And he's not healthy. The problem
we have doubts about James Harden, though.
That James Harden's a better player than Darius Garland right now. I know that's going to be hard for some people to understand. Maybe people here don't really watch a bunch of Clippers basketball. I can't blame you. Remember, we beat the Clippers earlier in the year in Kawhi Leonard's first game when he came back, and we're like, all right, big bad Clippers, huh? But James Harden has been really good for them this year and much better than Darius has been. The issue is that anybody who knows the league knows that James Harden has had some of the all-time playoff meltdowns in big moments.
Yeah.
Now, Darius hasn't even gotten to the point where he's been in those big moments because they haven't gotten far enough because Darius hasn't been good enough. Thing about Harden is he has had huge playoff games. So we're talking about two totally different. The profiles of those players in the postseason are very different. But yes, James Harden still at 36 is better than Darius is right now.
216-474-0092. I gave you my answer reluctantly. I think I have to make the trade now. Do I get the right of new information? Because Donovan's going to come out tomorrow, or will they have anything this afternoon at shoot around out there? Danny Cunningham's going to join us this morning
tomorrow?
at 8:20. They play tomorrow. But I imagine they have a shoot around today. So will there be any? Is there availability on an off day shoot around? Maybe not. Maybe there would be, considering all this. I'm sure Donovan would, as he's basically the spokesman of the organization, as the cornerstone player, he would deny anything in terms of, well, are you upset and possibly leaving? There's no way Donovan Mitchell's ever going to admit to that. Going, oh yeah, I'm the hell out of here if we can't get to the NBA Finals. But I got to read the tea leaves here.
And I wonder, Donovan, this is so huge here, and this is the one unknown for all of us because Donovan has kept his business private, even in Utah. Even in Utah forever, you'll notice he did not make the big, bold declaration, I want out of Utah. Yeah, he had his people handle it for him, but he did it in like the most professional way possible, especially in that league. So Donovan has been very quiet publicly about this. He's only said the utmost positive things about his experience here. But that's Donovan publicly. What is Donovan privately? What has he told the organization? Because I'm sure the organization has come to him during times of honesty and said, hey, can we bank on you? Like, we're doing everything we can to lay out a runway for you to finish your career in Cleveland. What kind of feedback has Donovan given back in return? And how much of it is predicated on, hey, we can't get out of the second round?
216-474-0092. So I laid it out. I don't do this jovially. I don't do this saying you're an idiot if you don't want James Harden. We've spent a lot of time, and when you're not in the city he's in, you spend a lot of time talking about the other stuff, the gentlemen's clubs, the casinos, the rather large midsection at times that he seems to put on and put off whenever he wants. There's a lot of other things, so there's not a whole lot of, hey, oh my gosh, he scored 45 last night. You don't get a lot of that. So I understand a lot of apprehension, but I think they're telling you without telling you, like, this is the put up or shut up year, and they're going to go all in. Because it seems like, according to Chris Mannix and Shams Charania, this thing's getting actually very close. 216-474-0092. I've laid it out. I want to ask you guys, do you want James Harden or do you want to stick with Darius Garland? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, a bizarre question I did not think I'd have to ask at 6 o'clock on The Fan. Extend Technologies in Broadview High.
Google review rating. Whether it's for home or business, call today to get a free estimate for your plumbing and electrical needs or visit TriCountyElectricService.com.
Catch the Fan Off-Season Special every Tuesday from 7 till 9 p.m. right here and on the 92.3 The Fan YouTube channel. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
All right, 8 o'clock, Danny Cunningham going to join us. We'll try to break down, make sense of all this. Remember, breaking Cavs news anytime, 923thefan.com, free Odyssey app. I'm not getting cussed out because I'm not cussing anybody out and saying you're idiots for not wanting James Harden. This is a very weird standoff type of thing where I think Lima and I are kind of going with each other and we got guns to a hostage's head and we're kind of creeping to each other, getting ready to make a switch here. Because I don't trust Darius Garland to be healthy. I think that he's a try-hard, and he would, if he were healthy, he'd do the damnedest he could. James Harden has had some sensational postseason flameouts, but he's also a great player. He's been an MVP candidate. He's
three-time scoring champ.
Three-time scoring champion. Yes, right. See, Lima can say it off the top of his head. This is. So, and because they're in the conversation for this move, it's like, all right, like this is a guy that you're doing this, I think, out of desperation. I think that things are a lot closer to coming to a head than they were before. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead and go get James Harden, which is not going to be a popular thought. 216-474-0092. Tone, you do not want to go get James Harden. You're going to stick.
So the interesting thing about James Harden is he is one of the most controversial great players in any sport. Can you think of a player that is as good as he is? 5 top 3 MVP finishes, 3-time scoring champ. What has he been, all NBA like 8 times? I mean, Darius Garland's never going to be all. Do you think Darius Garland's ever going to be all NBA?
Like second team? No.
For a second, no. I know he was. We thought maybe last year he was trending in that direction.
It's less than likely. The way that he was up through January last year was trending in that direction.
Guys,
right?
I don't know the NBA Hall of Fame, the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame as well as I know the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, we're talking about first ballot Hall of Famer here. That's what we're talking about.
Of course, I was told over the weekend Dennis Schroeder is going into the Basketball Hall of Fame as well for his exploits for the international play.
Okay. A lot of guys get into the Hall of Fame. It's just not going to be. I think I have to differentiate first ballot when it comes to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a former MVP, a guy who's finished high in MVP, voted a bunch of times, like Lima said. I mean, it's all there. And he's been a fantastic player.
His passing is incredible. But Darius is a good passer. This is another level.
I'm getting a lot of, well, he's 36. I get that he's 36. This is not a long plan.
No.
This is not a long plan. I think we're closer to 19-win seasons than we want to believe. I think we're closer to doing the old bamboo room from Goodfellas. I don't remember if it's called the bamboo room. I think we're closer to setting the restaurant on fire from Goodfellas than we think.
Bamboo Lounge?
Bamboo Lounge, that's what it was. May 11th, 1970, if I'm not mistaken. I think we're a lot closer to the Bamboo Lounge than we think. And I no one wants to hear that. I don't want to say it. I'm not trying to be an alarmist. But when they're out there for James Harden, that they're telling me something, and I think we need to listen.
But you said something there that was very interesting. You said, hey, we might be closer to, what?
19-win seasons
19-win seasons. If that's the case, I think Cavs fans, they probably in the back of their mind go, well, we're not going to win the championship with James Harden, so why are we doing this? Why would we be jumping?
One's going to give you a better chance than the other. That's why you're doing that.
Okay, how much so? He does not solve some of the issues that they have anyway. First of all, they got a logjam at guard right now, which made me believe there are still more moves to be made. But they have all these guards on the team now that they did away with DeAndre Hunter. They still don't have the wing presence that you need to seriously. I mean, when you think about like going up against, let's say Jason Tatum comes back. How are you matching up with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum? Two guys that could drop 30 at any time. Who's guarding those guys?
This is where the Cavs have been very hand-to-mouth in their, at least with their recent history here. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, did he solve any of the problems that you had? I mean, be honest. Just be honest. He didn't.
He gave you a superstar presence and a top 10 NBA player, which you need.
And here we are repeating history again. That's what I'm pointing out. is when you're looking in a league where you need dynamic wings. He's not a Donovan was not a dynamic wing, is not a dynamic wing. He's a great player. He's a number one on this team. He's a tremendous guard. And if that tremendous wing is not available, then damn it, you're going to double down any way you can in a wide open East, and you're going to go out and you're going to try to get that dynamic guard. And if you have two dynamic guards who are both about 6'4", 6'5", I think James Harden 6'5" or 6'6", and you got guys who are certainly sturdier than Darius Garland, you're going to roll the dice and take your chances. Because at the end, fired's fired. Fired is fired. So if Kobe Altman
you
feels
think this
at the
is
end
simply
of
a job security thing?
No. I think that these guys are very pragmatic about this and goes, when this is over, when this run is over, and Donovan goes and James goes, and we're talking about liquidating assets with you-know-who, you're going to get let go. Fired's fired. It's not about saving your job. I don't think he's doing anything to save his ass. Quite the contrary. I think that this is a person who knows, I'm assuming Kobe Altman is a person who knows that, yeah, if you don't get to where you need to go, which is the NBA Finals, you're going to hear a lot of nasty things here over this next several months of the offseason, and it's going to probably be sooner than later, and then you could be looking at having to move Donovan Mitchell. And I don't think anybody really wants to do that, because that's what I'm led to believe. If you're going after James Harden, who's a 36-year-old malcontent. See, I can use that age both ways if I want to.
Yeah.
It's like Andy Dalton's backup. So that's what I'm getting from that. And you just got to play the odds. Like, I still don't think, if you got James Harden, could you beat Oklahoma City? Do you take San Antonio as a serious threat to the Western Conference?
In the
They're
end,
still
no.
young.
I think it's,
well, there you go.
I think it's still going to come down to Denver.
Houston?
Houston's right there, but I still think it's going to come down to Denver and Oklahoma City.
Okay, Denver. Do you think that this team with James Harden could beat Denver or Oklahoma City?
They don't have that wing presence that I think is mandatory.
You're right.
I mean, when you go up against Oklahoma City, they got like 7 wings that can all shoot the three and can all defend.
But if you're Mike Gansey,
who do we have?
We don't have that. But if you're Mike Gansey and you're Kobe Altman, you look at the end of it, go, we were at the end of the rope anyway. We tried to make it run.
So the question that I have is,
we did what we could to make the team as good as possible while we had the team.
Okay, so they have this looming Donovan Mitchell question that is going to be pervasive for everything they do. Remember,
yes.
I said this yesterday, but next year is the final year of Donovan Mitchell under team control because he's got a player option the year after that. So what that means is typically that means you're up for free agency. And so that year before is always the time where it's put up or shut up. Like, Are we trading him? Are we signing him to extension? If he doesn't sign an extension, we have to trade him because we're going to be left, empty-handed at a terrible time, at a crucial time in Cavs history. So you would never allow yourself to do that. So you're putting all your feelers out you can. Donovan, how do you feel about it here? How critical is it that we get out of the second round? Is that everything? Do you want to completely, leave town? If that is the case.
Well, I got to tell you, if I was Donovan, I don't know if I would be honest. I don't know if I'd tell you. What good does it do for me? If I tell you I'm here no matter what, do I trust you that you're going to go do what I need to be done? If I tell you that, hell no, if you guys can't do this, I'm out of here on the first thing, then that's going to you're making my life tougher in the city that I'm playing in. Because we hold on to these guys very closely. So you're going to make things more difficult for me. So if I'm Donovan Mitchell, I don't even know if I'm answering you.
The issue is, though, I don't think Donovan Mitchell has a no-trade clause, which means, you can kind of mess with him, too, and be like, hey, if you're not honest with us,
I'll send you to Sacramento.
If you're not forthright. Yeah, we've done it before. We just asked DeAndre Hunter about his new lease on life and how he's feeling about that, going from a contender to Sacramento. With all that said, they need to have a good understanding of how Donovan feels about the situation. And the flip side of it is, by not making a big move now, then is the writing on the wall for you moving on from Donovan Mitchell? That's your pivot, and still building the next iteration of the Cavs, where Donovan Mitchell still has a boatload, and I mean a boatload of trade value. Look at what Bane got with the Memphis trade to Orlando. You're getting more than all their assets were given up to go get Desmond Bane. Well, obviously, Donovan Mitchell's on a whole nother level, a different stratosphere. So you got to think about that, too. Is there any part of the Cavs fans that are like, hey, I don't like this deal, and I don't like this deal so much.
I think there are.
That maybe we keep Garland, hope the health thing.
I think there are plenty.
Hope it normalizes over time, and then build around Evan Mobley. And while the leap didn't come yet, he's still a really good player, a very high floor player. A very high floor player that at his very worst, he still impacts the game on both ends.
Yeah. I think
and let's see what we can get for Donovan Mitchell.
There's absolutely those folks. I mean, people really don't like James Harden. 216-474-0092. I said I would make the trade begrudgingly. I'm not celebrating it, but I think I would make this trade. I want to hear from you guys. 216-474-0092. And if he won't watch, then Tone is a hater after all. It's coming up on The Fan. Daisy Dips.
burst pipe mitigation, and water damage. We stop the flow and start the recovery immediately. IntegratedRestoration.us. IntegratedRestoration.us.
Hear all of the latest Cavs and NBA trade news right here ahead of the NBA trade deadline, Thursday at 3 p.m. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Back of the Fan. All right, you want to make a trade? Don't want to make a trade. You want to trade for him? You want to trade for James Harden? I talk you into trading for James Harden?
I don't think you could talk me into it.
Oh, well.
And this is Darius. Like, this is the guy that I've talked about openly trading for 2 years.
Yeah, but you openly talked about trading Colin Sexton before that. And then they traded Colin Sexton, and now he's a role player on a bad team.
Admittedly, I might be the wrong guy to ask on a lot of this because I am never as tethered to the Cleveland athletes as much as, like, when I was young, you know, I'd get the jersey, I'd move heaven and earth, I'd work every shift I could, I'd buy a ticket to a game, and I would immortalize those athletes. At this stage of my life, and with the amount of player turnover that there is in sports, I am never going to be that kind of a fan again. I mean, I openly told Joe Thomas I wanted him traded.
I don't think this is that way, though. I don't think that you're going that way. By the way, 71%, I put up a poll, and you know that this is scientific. 71% of those voting on social media, on Twitter, they do not want James Harden. I take it a totally different way. Before I get to these phones here, guys, you guys have tried to talk. We did this in the Miami series with Ty Jerome. We did this a couple years ago. We did this with Colin Sexton. There has been a large contingent of fans who have not been Darius Garland fans, who have thought that he's fraudulent, who have thought that he, and by the way, the other, I don't think that those things are true. I do think that a lot of fans are against Darius Garland, but I do think that also a lot of fans say some things that aren't necessarily true. What is true is that he's often injured. I think he'll continue to battle injuries throughout his career. This is why it makes you wonder, well, what's the Clippers trying to do? Other than just unload this player, and I don't know what they're going to swing Darius Garland for, but that's their conversation to have between them. He's going to be off injured. He's going to deal with this foot issue for the rest of his career. That's been said by Brad Daugherty, but a lot of people. He is a guy who's easily knocked off his spot because he's a thinner 6'2". He's a small guy. Those things are true. But there's been a lot of people. I don't think that they hold on to him. If we were talking about trading Donovan Mitchell away for somebody, I think there'd be a lot of people going, what are you doing? That's the second greatest Cavalier in the world. You're nuts. It's the second greatest Cavalier in history. You're absolutely nuts. Like, I think you'd get a lot of people who were like wearing 45 jerseys who would be upset about. I don't think they feel that way towards Darius Garland. Darius Garland, I think, might be a mean to an end for a lot of people out there. I think they're looking at it going, they just don't want James Harden. I'm just saying, man, you wouldn't be public with this if it weren't getting close to DEFCON 1 about your window for a championship right now. And I think your window for a championship will soon be closing if you can't get there, especially with this wide open year in the East. You have Halliburton back next year. You have Tatum back next year. Good God.
Maybe this year.
Who the hell knows who's going to trade for Giannis? Because you guys know you're going to have a lump in your throat if the 76ers are able to complete a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. You guys know that very, very well, and I think they see it. And I'm not trying to scare everybody, but this is the situation we're in here, guys. I mean, these teams are not built to be around for 10 years anymore. I know Oklahoma City looks good. I think that they're the exception, not the rule. I think that this is what this team was built for, and they will take one big swing at it, and if they don't, it's going to be liquidation time sooner than later. And we will rebuild again. And the Cavs have shown that they can rebuild. So it's not like I have no faith that they can rebuild. They've built. But it's going to take some time. And I think that this is where it's at. And I am not a big truster of James Harden at all, guys. Not at all. We have sat here during about last night and ripped on him and made jokes in the years past and some of the stuff in Philly and all the other crap, the Nets. We've done it for a long time. The show's been on for a while now. And we've made jokes about him. And I don't necessarily trust him. I'm just trying to read the tea leaves. That's all I'm trying to do. It is inconvenient, but it is the truth. Let me get to Kyle and Ashtabula. You've been most patient. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Kyle.
Hey, good morning, fellas. I got to say, I'm actually thrilled about this rumor. I feel like I've got a new lease on life. For a year, all we've been hearing about this team is that they're stuck, and these are the guys they've got, and it's only going to go as far as they take them.
Fair comment.
And Garland isn't going to take them far. I don't want to turn this into bashing the guy because by all accounts he's a great guy and he's a talented player, but because of the health and because of the size, there's nowhere to go with him. And we've been talking about let's trade him for a wing, let's trade him for this guy. You couldn't trade him for Alonzo G in the way today's NBA is. So to be able to upgrade from Garland to Harden gives them a better chance at winning the East this year, and it resets the deck financially. Harden will come off the books in 2 years. You can either re-sign Mitchell or you can get somebody else to build around Mobley. This is tremendous. This is great news this morning.
There's a lot of money that comes off the books if you move on from that. That's about $100 million in savings. Kyle, thank you very much for the call. Vincent in Virginia, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Vincent on the free Odyssey app.
Good morning, gentlemen. I don't think it's a good trade, and then it's just kind of talks. They say that Harden has veto power over any trade that they try to make, and they're saying the Cavs wanted some type of draft compensation for the trade, and the Clippers are not feeling that. So there is a backstory that the Cavs may want to get John Collins, and Bogdanovic in the trade for Garland.
So what you think that this is just talk about? Are they trying to float it for other people then?
Actually, they say Harden is trying to request a trade. Also, it's sort of like he's talking to the Clippers about trading him. And I think Harden wants to go anywhere. He wants to go back to Houston.
Well, so he would not accept the trade to go to Cleveland?
I'm not saying he wouldn't. I just think that it's not a good trade for the Cavs. And they say his option year money is not even guaranteed.
Well, my issue, the only issue I have, Vincent, thank you very much for the call. I just think it comes down to whether or not you want James Harden. I think that we've reached a point here with the Manx report, with the Shams Charania stuff from ESPN. Like, the Cavs are definitely in conversations with the Clippers. I don't think anybody's done it. Maybe I misunderstood Vincent's comments. I don't think any of this is just being floated out by camps.
I mean, the fact that it's gotten to this point,
I think they're talking.
Because I also wonder, what is the move if this fizzles? If these trade talks absolutely break down? Is there another move in the offing? Because it's not that I don't think guys can be pros.
You brought up, have you reached the point of no return? And I was a little worried about that.
Well, you say you don't think they're floating it out. Is it because of who is reporting it? Like, what gives you the confidence that it's not just hearsay?
I'm seeing from Manx that they're engaging in conversation. So
that's why
and then he had
playing
specifics.
Devil's advocate here.
Yeah, then he had specifics.
It's because of the names that are
perfect example, like the NBA Central thing that came out yesterday, where it had bond temps in the podcast with Wendy, where it said teams are monitoring the Donovan Mitchell situation. Everybody's monitoring everybody. The Cavs are monitoring the LeBron James situation with the Lakers. Great point, Owen. Because you can monitor whatever. Doesn't mean you're actively engaged in talks. I'm reading here that they are engaged in conversation.
When they write the word sources in their headline, that's different than just speculating.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. I will tell you this. I think bigger picture here, whether it's the Harden situation, whether it's the speculation about Giannis that has been out there, Michael Porter Jr., the reality is, guys, Cavs fans now, and I think we all need to understand this, that the core four is done. Now, is it done this year? Is it done this year before the trade deadline? And maybe some of you would say, well, that's common sense. They couldn't just continue with this core and lose and flame out in the first or second round, which I think a lot of people right now would bet on them. If you had money to put, you'd probably bet on the Cavs not getting out of the second round. But the fact that they are engaging in these types of conversations, Brian Windhorst has talked about the pursuit. He doesn't like, all the reporting done on his reports, but he basically said it's Giannis without saying Giannis. They've absolutely pursued it. Well, you can't pursue Giannis without dangling at the start Garland, and then eventually you have to come around to would I trade Mobley. What it does is it creates a final clarity to the Cavs now know they cannot win a title with this core four, and Donovan Mitchell entering a very, very crucial stretch, these playoffs, and heading into this offseason. I think that's the big takeaway, that even if the Harden thing gets squashed, even if they don't make a Giannis deal, it shows you they have taken the temperature of where they are as a basketball team, And what comes back every single time is the Cavaliers, as presently constituted, cannot win a championship.
Speaking of clarity, we might have got some clarity without somebody actually trying to say something about the Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders situation, where there might have been a little bit of a crumb put out there on a national radio show by a former coach of ours. We'll hear that coming up at 7:22. And if Lima won't do this, then he's a flat-out hater, and he's refusing to do his job. That's at 7:02 on The Fan. Northeast Factory Direct in
MVP once. By any measure, he got Lamar as a passer to improve greatly. I think he's just a great football coach, and I love this for Cleveland.
Catch Odyssey NFL insider Ross Tucker on Afternoon Drive every Wednesday at 4. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, Danny Cunningham going to join us. Cleveland Magazine, Inside Shot on Substack, 92.3 The Fan. Heads are spinning. Is it a move the Cavs should make for James Harden? I'm going to say, oh, by the way, 722, some interesting audio from a former Browns coach. Maybe some people are going to be taking back some words about him and Shedeur Sanders. Maybe. Maybe not. Probably not.
Probably not.
We'll find out coming up at 7:22. We let you decide here on The Fan. Make sure you're listening. Breaking Cavs news Breaking Cavs news, huh? Breaking Cavs news.
What do we got?
Can happen anytime.
Already seen Donovan Mitchell and his Skims.
923thefan.com. And on the free Odyssey app, you are a true ass. As always, you can listen to the show and all of our local shows on The Fan on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Or, you know what? Take The Fan wherever you go. Listen to us on the Odyssey app, the iHeart app, or the TuneIn app. They're all there. They're all wonderful. Get the free Odyssey app. It's absolutely free. That's why I put it in the name. Watch us on YouTube Live. Put us up on TV while the kids have their Cinnamon Toast Crunch this morning as they get ready to go to school. I said you weren't a hater yesterday. I might have to take it all back.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm. And this is the best thing about it. I don't know when it even starts, but I'm going to find out. Are you going to watch the Pro Bowl games tonight?
So I forgot that it was on tonight, admittedly. And there are a couple of NBA games I'm into tonight. Kenny, as I know.
Cavs aren't playing.
They are not. No, but I'm starting to. I wanted to tell you this coming in today.
I want you to do your job.
Now, I did not know this was going to be a topic, but I was going to come in today and tell you that football season has officially ended for me. I mean, I know there's the Super Bowl. There's one game left. And
you know how I feel about the Super Bowl, though.
So for you, it's already ended. But it's now basketball. Like, I'm watching college basketball now. Darren Peterson last night against Texas Tech. Holy cow. So I'm officially starting to really watch basketball.
I watched Purdue, Maryland the other day.
I know
feel
you
vigorous.
did. I wanted your book report on all that.
Buzz Williams, not a good start to his tenure at Maryland, I'll tell you that.
So tonight, Denver and Detroit. Detroit, best record in the Eastern Conference at 36-12.
Stop.
They're on at 7 o'clock.
Stop.
And then Boston, it's a Peacock game.
Stop.
Boston is going up against Dallas with Cooper Flagg. So those games are something I'm going to be much like there's a lot of monitoring of the Donovan Mitchell situation. I am monitoring what's going on in the NBA.
Stop trying to talk around it.
So you're trying to talk me up to what? What's going on
I'm trying to tell you to do your job.
Which is what?
And this is not a farce. You can see my face if you watch me on YouTube Live for absolutely free. Subscribe for free, 92.3 The Fan. I want you to do your job.
Which is?
Watch Shedeur Sanders in the Pro Bowl games. That's what I need you to do.
Which are?
I don't know. I'm looking him up right now.
Games that are played around the Pro Bowl.
No, he's going to play.
Which is?
Hold on. He's going to play
an
the
event
AFC.
that used to be cool in
NFC
the 90s.
flag football game, 7-on-7, 2 20-minute quarters. I know that. Okay, I got the viewing information. 6:30 Eastern for the coverage. 8 o'clock tonight, 7-on-7
There's
flag football.
an hour and a half pregame
You don't
show?
need to watch. I'm not
Yes,
telling you to
there
watch a
is.
pregame show. I'm not telling you to watch a pregame show.
My God.
I hate pregame shows. I hate them, with the exception of the ones that you're on. I don't, because, hey, I love NASCAR. I hate the pre-race show. I'm not touching that, no.
Because they never tell you when the actual race starts.
Oh, it's the worst.
Well, you listen for the engines.
It's on ESPN.
They tell the gentleman to start up.
Yeah, and then when they start up, even though they're fewer horsepower now, so they're not as loud, but you get what I'm saying.
Restrictor plates.
7-on-7 flag football starts at 8.
Okay.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
I want you to do your damn job and watch Shedeur Sanders.
I will get away.
Well, that doesn't have any fun to it. I thought for sure you'd start to put your heels in.
But the hard part about it, like the audience knows, I kind of, because we made a big deal about it at the time, I famously did not watch the Myles Garrett Pro Bowl that he actually played football in.
It's different.
So why is it different?
Because you knew that Myles Garrett is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Denzel Ward, Denzel Ward is one of the best. Is he the best corner since 99? Yes. He's the best corner since 99.
Yes, for this organization.
I don't need to watch Denzel Ward play. You got to watch Shedeur. Stop it. Stop trying to ignore the elephant in the room. That's what I really hate when we talk about the media stuff with the Shedeur fans. It's like, stop trying to ignore it.
Are they watching this tonight?
Veer into it. Who, the Shedeur fans?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
I just don't know what this...
Are you crazy?
I'm sorry.
You call those folks a cult, and then you're saying they're not going to watch him in the Pro Bowl games?
I have to kind of admit that I have a blind spot for this flag football. I don't know what this is.
I don't know either. I didn't watch it last year. I'm going to watch this year, so you and I are going to find out together.
Did you see any clips? Did any of them make it online from last year? Was it a worthy event?
No idea.
That people are like, I'm coming.
Trying to force it into a show.
I'm coming back for more next year.
I have no idea. I have no idea, but I'm going to find out tonight at 8:00. Now, is he starting?
Did he get first team reps?
Oh, he was there. I did see NFL Films video of him doing a practice.
Okay.
Was he running with the ones,
signals?
They actually had a practice.
They had 2 days of practice before it. Yeah, I mean, you got to get on the same page, don't you?
I learned the playbook.
Shedeur Sanders was asked about this Pro Bowl experience and what it's been like for him. Survey says.
He says, I had the pot off.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right.
Do it again. Say it again.
Survey says about Shedeur Sanders and what this Pro Bowl experience has been like for him.
It's amazing. I just come here and I'm like, dang, I really get to be around all these great guys and these great coaches and everything. So it's like, it's surreal.
Having a good time. You owe it to the listeners to watch it tonight.
I'll tune it over. I mean, I'll be more invested, obviously, in the monitoring of whether Detroit can hang with now that Jokic is back with Denver and everything. But fine, yeah, I'll put it on.
Why? What are you shaking your head for?
This is just like last year when he told us you got to watch this Thunder Rockets game tonight. Got to do it. Who cares?
Yeah, admittedly, but you can't do a who cares and then bring up the flag football game. You can't. I don't think that's allowable.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Of course,
you can.
The best part about this is there will be in 3 days. There will be a press release that said 8 million people watched the flag football game, and I'll say, I don't believe you, which is what I find myself saying for a lot of these unveilings of the ratings.
Well, when you're streaming online on ESPN, NFL Plus, Fubo, plus you're on ESPN, always Disney Fubo. XD, ESPN Deportes.
Social media reactions are brought to you by
Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Chris Thomas, it's not even a real football game. How do you gain anything from this? Because it's your damn job. He's the most popular quarterback the Browns have had since Baker Mayfield.
I don't know if
he's probably one of the 3 most popular quarterbacks we've ever had in the last 26 years. I think we could actually talk. If you're talking popularity, I didn't say best. I'm talking popularity.
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Number one, it could be Shedeur. I didn't see any AI videos about Johnny Manziel or Baker Mayfield. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Back then.
Okay, but if they would have had it back then, would they have been doing it?
Yes.
Number one, Shedeur. You're talking popular, right?
Baker,
popular.
Wait a second. More popular than Baker? Remember, Baker had the entire Oklahoma. Our radio station.
We had radio affiliates there.
Yeah, that did not happen in Boulder.
Everyone that I knew from my childhood had a Browns jersey at that point.
And Oklahoma has a way bigger fan base than Colorado.
Baker, yes. You're right. Baker, Shedeur, Johnny. Popularity.
Johnny was interesting because, much like Shedeur, Johnny had that young fan base. The young fan base that gravitated towards him.
That's the only thing they haven't
done. Well, I mean, you got to remember.
Shedeur actually tries to help himself out.
Johnny, we're talking, Heisman Trophy. His game, I'll never forget that game against Alabama. I mean, my God. It felt like everybody was on the Johnny bandwagon after that game. So he played in bigger games.
Bowl game against Duke. Was it Peach Bowl? Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, I think it was.
Johnny had a better college career than Shedeur did.
I think Johnny had a better college career than the other two. I don't think anybody's debating that.
Than Baker?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's close.
Baker went to the playoffs.
And Baker went to Ohio State, beat Ohio State on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny basically, he had Mike. It was basically him and Mike Evans who beat Alabama.
He had the whole from walk-on to Heisman thing.
And that's a great story. That is a great story.
I mean, it's a tough comparison, but
Baker ended up going number 1 overall.
Baker went number 1
It's kind of hard.
overall.
I mean, they give Johnny credit for having that one section of that stadium built, for crying out loud.
There's a few different things from Baker's career. The Alabama game for Johnny is an all-timer. It's but that is like the real standout.
Consider this as number 6, or what was Johnny's number in college?
2.
Is number 6 or number 2 retired at Texas A&M or Oklahoma? I'm being dead serious. I have no idea.
There is a statue of Baker Mayfield outside the stadium.
Oh, you don't think there's going to be a statue of Shedeur Sanders outside in Boulder? If there isn't already?
That depends. What happens with Deion? If Deion has a terrible year this year, I mean, how many games did they win last year? 3?
No, they won 3.
Oh, they won 3 conference games.
I think they might have finished 4-8.
Oof.
Wasn't a good year. I'm surprised he's actually still there. It's either way. What? What are you laughing about?
You just talked yourself out of that statement halfway through it.
What?
I'm surprised he's still the head coach, is what you want to say.
I am surprised he's still there. I'm surprised he stayed there after this year.
He's dealing with a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
Weird word to use, but yeah.
And he's got his travel schedule, trying to watch the Browns wherever they go.
Ushered out could have been another word.
No. If he were to finish like 2-10 next year, he'll be ushered out. But I'm surprised he didn't say, you know what?
Will it go down like Herm Edwards? In the end zone?
No. I would hope they have
during
more
the
decorum
post-game interview.
Well, wait a minute. Let's give credit where it's due here. And I'm just going to get nasty emails, and I don't give a damn, because you guys know the truth. It was literally the worst program in P5, and the worst in the Power 5.
In P5.
Yeah. And they went 4-8, and then they went to a bowl game at 9-4. Do not tell me that it was just a complete disaster.
Still not impressive as Kirk Cignetti.
And if he were, it's absolutely not as impressive as Kirk Cignetti. No one even made that comparison. I don't know why you brought it up.
And Fernando Mendoza.
And it's not as impressive as that. I don't know why you had to bring that up, other than you're a hater, and I'm going to convince myself of it today.
Because guys on this YouTube platform try to tell me all year, but what has Mendoza done? I don't know. He won the Heisman, went undefeated, and won a national championship.
This is why we get a bad name in Cleveland media.
In the hardest conference.
The
people that deserve a bad name are the people that wrote that.
And all you
they deserve a bad name.
Dennis 6969? Who cares?
Everybody in the YouTube live that told me, what has Mendoza done?
Why do you guys
he's going to
care
go number
so
1
much?
overall.
I can't believe you guys. This is why people
what
rip on Cleveland media.
Mendoza done?
Because you guys sit there and just.
He did everything you could do.
Oh, my God. I'm staring at this computer. I can't believe Dennis 6969 just said that I don't know about football because I thought that it wasn't better than Kirk Cignetti.
They tried to tell me that Shedeur.
Oh, my God.
Anthony Ken has never stared at the computer and worried about what people are saying.
Not Ken Carman.
Oh, my God. No, I used to do that. I don't do that
used
anymore.
Used to as in like Friday.
No, I didn't do that on Friday.
Used to as in like
YouTube
Thursday.
Live was the desktop image.
Thursday.
It was the screensaver.
That is not true. When's the last time I looked at the YouTube chat?
They tried to tell me that if the draft were this year and Shedeur was in this year, he would go ahead of Mendoza. Oh, God.
I mean, yeah. You will find crazy people everywhere. You'll find crazy people in an old Ames parking lot, Anthony. But if you're going to give them the microphone and let them take it away from you, you can go right on ahead. I would rather not put a highlight on the silliness. What's not silly? The possibility that he's going to be our number 1 quarterback this year, and that he's a Pro Bowl quarterback, and you could say whatever you want to about that process. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback, and listen, I knew about Myles Garrett, and I know about Denzel Ward. We don't know about Shedeur Sanders, and I'm going to be watching tonight at 8 o'clock instead of your, what is it, Detroit and
Denver.
Boston?
East and West
Detroit
collide.
And Denver. I'm sure the fans of Cleveland care much more about Detroit and Denver than they do about Shedeur Sanders in the Pro Bowl games.
In a flag football game?
Yes, in a flag football game. You're talking about the home of football here in Northeast Ohio.
We're sitting here. We started the show with a potential James Harden
to the Cleveland
Darius
Cavaliers.
Garland deal.
To the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Because we're monitoring.
To the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Right, because we are monitoring what the hell is going on in the Eastern Conference.
We're not just monitoring
Did Kobe Altman not just say that, hey, I'm looking around at the landscape of the Eastern Conference, so I'm kind of doing my job, I think.
But I'm sorry, he's the team president of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That is his job. I'm talking to Bob in Maple Heights. What the hell does he care? I think he cares.
You think Bob in Maple Heights is going to be dialed in, having a watch party for the flag football game tonight?
For all I know, he's going to be watching Sister Wives. But I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to sports, I think Bob in Maple Heights has had a better chance to watch the Pro Bowl games than he does Denver and Boston.
I'd love to hear
from Denver and Detroit. I can't even get the game right.
I would love to. Is everybody calling their buddies over? Are you ordering pizzas tonight for flag football?
No one's ordering pizzas on a Tuesday to watch flag football.
Wait. You built it up as the biggest event in Cleveland history.
I did not build it up as
the big game they keep talking about.
You're doing the same thing you just accused Shador people online doing. Well, I got one person. I got Dennis6969 telling me that it was a better job than Kurt Signetti, just like you did. Oh, Ken saying it's the biggest sports event in Cleveland. No, I didn't. It's the biggest sports event on a Tuesday night in early February. That's what it is. When the Cavs aren't playing, that's what it is. Look at him.
The best is when Ken builds his stuff up, and then we find out the next day he was driving home during the whole thing.
What was I driving home? I'll be home tonight.
How many times has Ken been building up some big sporting event, and then we find out the next day, hey, can you send me some clips from that?
That's not true. When do you
what do you got to say for yourself?
It's not true.
So give me your big night tonight. How does tonight go?
I go home.
You gather around, kids. We've got flag football.
I go home after I get done doing the sports at Fox 8 and the Fox 8 CLE Plus app. Sorry, it's all baked in. I get done. I pick up my son from wrestling, and then I go home and I turn on the Pro Bowl games and get ready to watch Shador Sanders, and then I'll bitch.
Which starts at what time again?
At 8 o'clock, and I'm going to bitch if he doesn't start because that means I got to stay up later.
Well, who else is in it? Who are the other quarterbacks?
Dak Prescott, I saw, was in it.
Okay.
Jamar Chase is in it, but he ain't a quarterback.
What's the format?
Anthony, you asked me that at the beginning of this of the
7-on-7 flag football.
I don't know. I know it's flag football and it's 20-minute quarters, but I don't know
versus
that.
AFC?
I don't know.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes. That's why he's in it in the first place. He replaced Drake May.
Quarterbacks, Matt Stafford, Sam Darnold, Dak Prescott. That's the NFC. Come on.
Well, Joe Flacco was added to the roster.
Allen.
AFC, here we go.
Oh, well, he's not starting over Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Wait, Josh Allen broke his foot.
Hold on.
He's not playing.
He's not. Let me read this to you.
Switched that now.
Switched the broken foot.
Can I save you from making an idiot of yourself even further?
My left foot.
Shador in for...
Could Josh Allen start with a broken foot over Shador Sanders?
Little foot, long foot. Shador Sanders over Josh Allen. Josh Allen is out. Okay? Justin Herbert is not participating. It's going to be Joe Flacco and Shador Sanders.
Oh, well, then
you say Browns. People can't...
I mean, get Snoop Huntley in there.
Where is Joe Burrow?
I don't know.
Joe Burrow turned it down?
I don't know.
He was busy.
Maybe he didn't play up to snuff for the people who vote those type of things in. And you guys all want to bring in Joe Burrow?
Well, Shador did beat him head-to-head.
There you go.
At the end of the year.
About last night, coming up at 7:45. I said 7:22, but now I had to debate this with Dummy over here. So we will have some Kevin Stefanski audio where maybe some people are going to be apologizing to Kevin, considering what he wouldn't say on Dan Patrick's show. That's at 7:26 on The Fan.
c.edu/nursing.
An accident 480 east at Route 8 has the right lane blocked. Traffic's light eastbound on 90 from 611 to Euclid Avenue. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
Headline sports news every 20 minutes from the University Hospital's sports desk. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
All right, Kenny, lots of feedback coming in. Tommy Matthews, I'd rather watch Memphis-Sacramento than watch the Flag Bowl.
Liar.
Sean Tupperville, Ken knows nothing about the event, and somehow you'd be remiss for
Liar.
watching the NBA.
Also a liar.
Sean and Green, Ken is getting mad over a flag football game.
Sean and Green, thank you. You're a liar.
Because he knows he doesn't have a good argument for tuning into the Snooze Fest.
I'm not mad.
By the way,
Why am I mad?
We will be airing
Of
coverage
course.
from the Pro Bowl tonight.
7:30 to 10:30 tonight, Pro Bowl games on Westwood 1. You'll hear it right here.
I'm
right
glad
after Jake Volnett.
I'm glad you and three liars agree with each other about what they're going to do tonight.
Chris Thomas, it's not even a real football game. How do you gain anything from this?
I read that on the air earlier. You weren't paying attention.
So
you and three and a half liars, since I already did that before, are going to not watch this
So
game.
he loses half a lie
All
point?
you guys watching Detroit and Denver tonight, I want a full-ass report tomorrow.
Oh, don't
I want you to call in. I want
don't challenge me with a
your
good
own
time.
2-minute report.
Not with you. Not with you. I want your own. Who is the other? Tommy Matthews. Hey, Tommy, I want a full 2-minute report out of you. Yeah, because I think you're all full of it, and I would say it even stronger if we weren't on the air. I would cuss right here in front of your face because you're all full of it. You go ahead. If the guys over at Cleveland Cliffs right now, if they're watching sports tonight, which one are they watching? Stop. You know exactly what they're watching. I'm talking about the general pot. There's plenty of them. They're going to watch other TV because the Cavs aren't on or whatever, and they might just not watch the Pro Bowl. They might not just the Pro Bowl games. They might just not watch it, but if they're watching sports, they're watching that.
The funny thing is, the Pro Bowl will, again, a press release will come out, and it'll say most watched Pro Bowl in how many years? Because somehow, some way, the NFL has figured out that anything they broadcast in a football window draws.
But
now,
it will definitely be the most watched Pro Bowl games on a Tuesday night in league history.
Can you gamble on this?
Tone Master General, what I'm saying to you is that I'm not even planning to use that as some sort of a champion's pose when those numbers come out. I think they're flawed as well. With all the streaming services, everything is the most watched thing in the history of most watched things. Somehow it gets more than the MASH finale. I'm not even pointing that out. I'm just saying, and you know I'm right, go anywhere where guys are working today. Anywhere. Whether they're teachers, whether they're working at Cliffs, wherever. It doesn't matter. If they're watching sports tonight, they are 99 out of 100. If they're watching sports in this city, in this region, who's listening, they are watching the Pro Bowl games over Denver and Detroit.
Well,
did I get the matchup
they're
right?
They're fortunate that I will be on tomorrow to break it all down and tell you where the Cavs belong in the landscape.
More than happy to turn on a podcast, or just wait until Mary Kay joins us at 8:20 on Thursday. I mean, you can't deny it.
So who knew? I always thought we were a football town. Apparently, we're a flag football town.
Here we go.
This is exactly what they were thinking. This is what Jim Thorpe was thinking about way back in the day. And Otto Graham.
I don't think Jim Thorpe and Otto Graham are thinking about any of this.
Someday, Cleveland will be known as the rightful #1 flag football town in America.
Jim Thorpe did bring up you'd watch it on your phone, too.
He did. I did a report.
I love how you claim to know what Jim Thorpe was thinking.
I did a report on him.
I'm the football guy.
I did a report, and when you go to the Hall of Fame,
What do you
there's a
remember
bunch
about
of
your
Jim
report?
Thorpe. About his Native American upbringing.
Where did he go to school?
Somewhere in Canton? I don't know.
This reflects poorly on the education they provide at West Geauga local schools. I just want to point that out for everybody.
They doing this at the charter schools now?
He's
Are you
from
learning
Yale,
about that?
Oklahoma, and we used to stop by his birthplace house all the time.
Boom. All right. Boom.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Mounds, Oklahoma School District, they are A1, baby. They know what they're doing. If you don't know Jim Thorpe, then what the hell are they teaching you in schools? It was the Carlisle School, by the way. Thank you very effing much. Prestigious.
Yes.
Used to beat the brakes off everybody. Here is a snippet from the Dan Patrick Show where What a transition where Dan Patrick was asking Kevin Stefanski about the rookie QB situation and how he would have handled it or how he wouldn't have handled it. I thought we had a clip of this. We don't have a clip of this? Well, now this is kind of embarrassing. Thank God for Kyle and Burton where they can go find the clip of this. I thought we had the clip of this. Here's Kyle and Burton. Hello.
Hey, Kenny, what about NXT tonight and the ladder match for the new NXT?
Brother, I have not watched.
Did you see what they're doing there?
The new championship.
What are you doing? Wow. Now I have to bust to try to find
And here's Kevin Stefanski.
I watched your press conference, your introductory press conference. I know you didn't want to talk about the Cleveland Browns, so you want to swat this away, you can, but was it fair to Shedeur and Dillon to be put in a situation like that as rookies?
Well, first of all, Dan, I would tell you I have zero ill will towards anyone in that building. Dee and Jimmy Haslam treated me unbelievably, treated my family unbelievably. So I have no ill will towards all those type of things. As it relates to decisions like that, it's not fair for me to comment. Those two young players, I love those guys. I loved coaching them. I love their development. As a coach, why we do this is you take a player and you try to get a little bit more out of him and you try to develop him. And I want to get this guy better at that. And I think both those guys, you can point to their rookie seasons and say, man, they got better in these areas. Ultimately, we want to continue to improve, and those guys, both of them will. But I think very highly of those two young men.
Thank you to Kyle and Burton and everybody for finding that audio there. Kevin Stefanski, that's from the Dan Patrick Show. The new Browns head coach, Todd Monken, is going to have his introductory press conference today at noon. You'll hear that live on The Fan, by the way. And maybe you could say, he's old news, I don't care about it anymore. I think what Kevin's telling you without telling you is he definitely would not have traded Joe Flacco away when they traded Joe Flacco away. Is that too much to say?
I think that's accurate.
Okay. Also, the ill will thing, I believe he doesn't have ill will towards ownership or anything like that. I don't know. You did hire a bunch of your old buddies back in Atlanta. So there's got to be something there, isn't there?
Yeah, Van Pelt.
You can't be just thrilled and excited to move on from Van Pelt, who you clearly liked, and bringing with you Tommy Rees and Bill Callahan. Just, hey, I'll come back and join Kevin. Clearly, you guys all thought that this was not going to go in the right direction this year. Or you did not like some of the decisions that were being made. Is that or is that not clear? I think it's clear.
For sure. Now, some of that, we look into it from the gossip point of view and the rumor mill. Like, it could just be a simple disagreement, like a genuine disagreement. Like, it might have come down to at some point when we told you at the time. I love how now, nobody cares now years later. But we told you at the time that was not a Kevin decision about Alex Van Pelt. And we were right. And I think now, it's funny just to see over the last few days. I guess we now know who the real decision is.
Okay, Daryl, why don't you relax over there?
Yeah, we told you at the time that was the case. And it wasn't, who knows? Maybe that wasn't the biggest sticking point in the world. Guys do like to work with the guys that they know. Same thing, by the way, Todd Monken. You see Todd Monken's bringing everybody over, bringing guys in that he knows, that quarterback coach, someone he knows and has worked with in the past.
See, I think it was a big sticking point, and that's why I think they're all together. I don't think if you have something that's working, and it did work there for a year, if you have something that you believe is working and can work again, you're not going to move on from those guys and then hire them in a different place. You would have let them be hired from somebody else. They would have been poached from you.
I think
that's the natural order, not what they did.
We like to think of it behind the scenes as Kevin dug his feet in, and he said, over my dead body on Alex Van Pelt. And in the end, I don't think it really goes down with that all the time. I think maybe sometimes there are guys, and the stories that came out that Harbaugh, that John Harbaugh said, I needed Monken, and that was it. All right, I mean, there's probably some truth to that, but was it the end of the world? Was that really the difference?
For some it is, because I think the biggest difference is the quarterback. The quarterback stay. If a player demands it, then the player demands it. Well, one's worth it. Lamar, I know that some people are questioning him right now. Lamar's worth it. He's proven he's been worth these conversations. You know who ain't worth it? Deshaun Watson. Without a doubt.
Well, today, yeah, but earlier
it was really that way. Wait a minute. When over the past 4 years has it not been that way?
I'm saying earlier in his career he would have been worth.
Yeah, before he was with the Cleveland Browns.
They fired coaches before they got rid of Deshaun Watson.
Before he was with the Cleveland Browns, but since he's been with the Cleveland Browns, he hasn't been worth that conversation. Lamar always has. That's the difference. That's why I think that you look at it with some sort of wistfulness or regret, because You see it and you think, well, what the hell are you doing? Why would you do all this for this guy? Why would you trade what you traded for him in the first place?
Yeah, but
and it all
back,
seemed to be this is what you do. But in the end, what did you get out of it? Nothing. And we're sitting here bickering over a guy who was taken in the 5th round afterwards and whether or not people are going to watch him in the Pro Bowl games. And you're where? At Italy? And people just want to crack jokes about you. Yeah. Which you can take your vacations all you want during the offseason, but people are still going to crack their jokes. That's how that goes. So, yeah, it worked out for one team, and it didn't really work out for another team. And we'll find out how it works out in the future.
You almost never, like what happened this year with Joe Flacco, that never used to happen in the NFL, where we're all sitting here debating, oh, is Flacco washed? And then the next week, with like no practice, he goes to Cincinnati, and, you know, he has like an all-time game on national television where we all thought he couldn't play football anymore. And then it's like, oh, no, he has weapons. Now he can play football.
It turned into a pumpkin against the Steelers a couple weeks
later.
later.
Well, he's Joe Flacco. Like, in the end, nobody thought Joe Flacco, even at his peak, was like a top 10 quarterback at this stage. But it just went to show you how dysfunctional the offense was here, how few pieces and parts there were. And by the way, I'd say the same thing for Shedeur. Like, Shedeur was dealing with and this Dylan Gabriel. I'd say the same thing for every guy that lined up under center this year, is that they did not have a real wide receiver room. They did not have an offensive line, and the running game went south. Like, all those things were 100% true.
And now you and your friends can watch 2 Browns quarterbacks in the Pro Bowl games tonight, or J.B. Bickerstaff. I think we know which one's going to win out. Coming up at 8 o'clock, Danny Cunningham going to join us on the show.
According to social media, it might not win out.
Yeah, well, lying liars are the lying liars who tell them on social media. We'll go
People are calling Ken the liar.
About last night, you think I ain't going to do something out of spite
Ken's
now?
pandering again. Heard about him admitting he does. Oh, well, I'm not going to say that one.
Well, no, go further. Go further. What, admitting what? Admitting what? Yeah, keep going.
Should have read that one ahead of time.
All right, well, you know what? Search us out on social media to find that out.
Chaser says, had Ken known the format of the flag game, maybe I'd actually watch.
Ain't my job. You figure it out. It's going to be on at 8. I told you where to go. You drink the water. Ain't my job to tell you the rules. I'm not Ed Hockley, and I never will be.
It's got our rules analyst, Ken Carman.
Yeah, I ain't telling you the rules.
Ain't
Gene
my job.
Steratore. You figure it out. It's 7-on-7 flag football. Go watch your basketball. There's plenty of rules and regulations there. No traffic cop. Coming up next, Roger Goodell spoke yesterday. We'll go over what he wouldn't say about last night on The Fan.
All right, volatile interest rate.
embarrassing. We got to be better on defense.
It won't matter till April. I think we know that. Y'all gonna write us off. We could go 82-0. No one would care.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucked. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. How he couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
Put a damn winning team on the field.
Now the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
So Roger Goodell had his semi-annual Speak to the Media event yesterday at the Pro Bowl games. Oh, no, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting. There's two things happening this week.
Well, the Pro Bowl games are a big-ass deal. Trust me, friends.
If it wasn't for the argument you guys have been having for the last 40 minutes, I would have
it was like 20.
Sure. You know. Okay, so like 20 and a half.
Can I meet you part of the way on that real quick?
Sure.
I'm not trying to start an argument again, Tone. I'm just going to say this.
I want you to start an argument again.
I don't want to bog it down. But if they do trade for James Harden this afternoon or today or this morning or whatever, yeah, I can understand maybe a few more fans watching that game. I can understand a few more fans because now you're scouting. I think a lot of it's been internal with Cavs fans. But now if you get James Harden, now you're scouting. Talk more about that coming up at 8 o'clock with Danny Cunningham. Go ahead.
Well, I'll bring up one more thing with the Cavs before we talk about Roger Goodell, because Harden wasn't the only trade name that was brought up with the Cavs attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Stein and Jake Fisher on their Substack talked about the Cavaliers potentially trading Lonzo Ball to Charlotte. This is from the Substack. Sources say there's been some preliminary conversation between the Cavs and the Hornets about ball trade constructions that could furnish Charlotte with second-round draft capital, thus enable the Hornets to pair the elder Ball with his younger brother, LaMelo.
I will trade Lonzo Ball to the Charlotte Hornets for an old Hornets starter jacket.
Would you trade it for a meal from Bojangles?
No, because they're built one in Canton now, so I can go there, even though it's not as good as it is in the South. You can guarantee yourself that. But yeah, I'd trade him for an old Hornets starter jacket.
It's just funny that when those two matched up against each other a few weeks ago,
it was the least exciting thing we've ever seen.
Well, it was rivalry week.
It was a
brother versus brother in a blood feud.
I mean, are we going to see a completely different Cavaliers team by Thursday morning, do you think? There's the Cavs are being brought up in a lot of trades,
it's
not
crazy.
just James Harden.
I got to say, I did not expect this level. I thought maybe they'd be conservative. And I thought, all right, yeah, they can continue to, like many teams, at the surface level, look into Giannis deals. But they were going to be hard to pull off anyway because of all the restrictions with the cap. But to wake up to the James Harden stuff, I am stunned. I am. Because it's an about face for this organization with not only the core four, but with Darius Garland, somebody they love. They have loved Darius Garland. So I got to admit, it's been kind of stunning this morning to see that kind of reporting.
We'll get deeper into that coming up at 8:20. But if you were listening earlier in the show, 923thefan.com and also on the free Odyssey app, like Lima and I know we're just at each other's throats. We were not that way in the first hour of the show about James Harden or Darius Garland. I knew where I knew where you were coming from. I think you got to understand where I was coming from. And there's a lot of speculation. So there's a lot of things here at 7:49 in the morning that I think are probably going to change over the next 12 hours or so. I'm not sure if they have a shoot around, or they probably do this morning or this afternoon over there, how the times schedule goes. I don't know if there will be media availability. Do you know that yet, Meredith? Because I'm sure Donovan Mitchell's... I'm sure it's going to be asked, but I don't think Donovan Mitchell's going to talk about, I'm out of here if we can't get anywhere. But I just feel they don't go and do something like this or think about doing something like this for James Harden, of all people. If they didn't feel that they were right up against it, and this might be the last year of this group together, all of them.
So Roger Goodell was asked a lot of things yesterday when he spoke to the media. One of them was about the Rooney Rule, because I think outside of Robert Saleh, I don't believe a minority coach was hired this coaching cycle. So this is what Roger Goodell said when asked about the Rooney Rule.
I believe diversity is good for us. I think we have become a more diverse league across every platform, including coaching. But we still have more work to do. There's got to be more steps. So we're reevaluating everything we're doing, including our accelerated program, including every aspect of our policies and our programs to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow rather than yesterday. So we need to be looking at that and sort of say, okay, why did we have the results this year? What is it that we can be doing in training or education, and that goes for not just the candidates, but also the clubs, and how we can try to continue to increase the opportunities and the outcomes ultimately.
I brought this up to you last week, Tone, or probably 2 weeks ago. I didn't feel right that it just felt like there was a box that needed to be checked. It just didn't seem like, I'm like, really, we're going to waste somebody's time if we're doing it this way? Like, what's the case? And I know a lot of people are going, well, shield out. It's like, oh, okay, I understand that, but it does feel like I think that it's not about just going through the interview. It's about actually having an opportunity to do it.
That is the negative unintended consequence of this. But, you know, what they'll also say is, well, at least you're giving them experience interviewing. Like, hey, with the Browns, boy, do you get an experience when you interview with the Browns. Because not only do you have the big write-up, not only do you do the Hogan assessment test, which I pulled up some of those questions.
Oh, yeah, you were supposed to ask me some of that question. We got to do that.
Maybe later in the show or later in the week, we can go over some of those because they're kind of standard in some leadership positions.
What if they did the Wonderkin test that they have to do at the combine?
The Wonder Lake? Yeah.
Wonder Lake. That's what it's called. Sorry, I forgot.
I was like, that don't sound right. That Wonder Lake.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, if you're going to make the players do it, why not?
We took a Wonder Lake as a station years ago.
Yeah, we did. So we also
how did you score?
Measured our hand sizes, and mine was quite honestly embarrassing.
Mine was I had the second biggest hand size outside of Keith.
Keith had the biggest ones, and it's amazing.
It's not true.
Those big hands.
Still big hands, guys.
Unable to have a real athletic career beyond intramurals.
I wear a size 14 shoe, and I'll just tell you right now, ain't true.
So
old wives' tale.
Here is the thing about this. You're right, Kenny. That is
got 3 sons. I don't care.
That is an unfortunate, unintended consequence of the Rooney Rule. And I saw Bomani Jones. He said yesterday the problem's not the Rooney Rule. The problem is still ultimately the people that have to sign off on these hires. Think about those people and the walks of life they're in. Football is probably the only time a lot of them come into contact. Not their country clubs, right? At their prestigious social clubs, like football is the only time they probably come across minorities to begin with, just because that's still the fabric of decision makers in this country. But whatever, that's beside the point. Like if you want to come on the air and say the Rooney Rule is flawed, of course, anything that you design with quotas in place is going to have inherent flaws. My issue is what is the track to become a head coach? For the most part, it is you got to work your way up to coordinator. Well, who are the coordinators? They're all former quarterbacks, right? There's some former offensive linemen. What are the positions that you become a coordinator when you actually play?
It seems more and more it's quarterbacks.
Okay.
It seems more and more it was old quarterbacks.
We didn't have black quarterbacks until, the last 10 years, really. I mean, we had an occasional here and there. But we didn't have black quarterbacks until recently, and now they're everywhere in college. So maybe that's the way, because we're only hiring offensive coaches. Save D'Amico Ryans, he's an African American who was able to work his way up because it was Houston. Who else was going to take that job, right? That's the argument. He was able to take it, and it's worked out really well. I think you need these guys to actually matriculate, and you haven't had that opportunity because who are the wide receivers that go into coaching? Not many. Okay, Brian Hartline. There's just not many. Who are the running backs that go into coaching? Eric Bieniemy. That's it. Who are they? Well, those are predominantly African-American positions in sports. So if we're going to take X players, if they're going to do offense, there's a reason that we don't consider other facets like the boy geniuses. Those are all going to be white dudes
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was exactly what Bomani said, is that none of the young black candidates are being referred to as boy wonders the way Sean McVay was, the way Grant Udinski was during this cycle. And I think that I think that's something that needs to have a spotlight on it. Why are we not looking at did anybody call Nate Shieldhouse a boy wonder? I don't think so.
But 35, I'm sure it came out from somebody's mouth. To Tone's point, and I know we got to go here. That's it for About Last Night. Let me just say this real quick. To Tone's point, I think that we're still in the infancy of this, of the QB position changing. You need more run-of-the-mill guys, more backups, because those are the ones that tend to go into coaching.
Well, people wonder, Byron Leftwich. Why isn't Byron Leftwich getting a job?
I wish I could tell you. I have no idea. It can't always be it got kind of really insulting. Eric Bieniemy's just a bad interview. It's like,
okay.
What's he doing? Just giving double birds to all the owners? Come on. It can't be that bad of an interview. Coming up next, Danny Cunningham going to join us. Even more dangerous than Daryl Ryder, because we might be talking about a big ass trade for your Cleveland Cavaliers? Could James Harden, yes, James Harden, be a Cleveland Cavalier by the end of the day? Danny Cunningham answers that question, whether or not he'd move Darius Garland for him. Next on The Fan. Window Nation and windownation.com.
12 o'clock, right here live on 92.3 The Fan. Tonight, don't miss the NFL Pro Bowl games, courtesy of Westwood One. Coverage begins this evening at 7:30, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
Danny Cunningham in moments. We have a contest.
Yes, we do. 92.3 The Fan looking for a winner. Enter the code SHOP, S-H-O-P, 923thefan.com before 9 a.m. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Cleveland Golf Show, February 13th through the 15th at the IX Center. Unbeatable deals on golf equipment and accessories. Get tickets and info at clevelandgolfshow.com. It's all from the Golf Show and Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
We go to the Make It Right, Call Kyle Wright hotline. We welcome in Danny Cunningham from Cleveland Magazine, Inside Shot on Substack, 92.3 The Fan as well. Danny, good morning to you. What percentage do you give the Cavs of completing a trade to bring in James Harden as of this hour?
As of right now, I would say it's probably a little bit greater than 50-50 that a deal gets done. Obviously, these things are never completed until it is 100% over the finish line, as we know in the NBA specifically. But when something gets out like this, I think it can be hard to kind of turn back at a certain point.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I asked if it's a point of no return. Like, even if this deal dissolves at the final moments before the deadline, what is that like? Obviously, this isn't the first time Darius has been talked about and speculated, but this seems a little beyond even some of the prior times that we have brought him up.
Yeah, I do think that has to be part of the thinking here. Now, I do think that guys like Darius, like really, I mean, everybody in the NBA, I think at this point, when you've seen some of the trades, not Cavs-wise, but just like league-wide that have gone down, I think most guys, and Darius is certainly part of this, understand that this is a business and these things do happen. And sometimes your names are going to get mentioned in trade talks. And I think that at some point, everybody other than Donovan Mitchell has had their name, and maybe Evan Mobley, has had their name thrown around as a potential person that could get traded. But to see it be out in the open like this, to know that the Cavs have been poking around with what I believe to be a lot of different guys, and Kobe Altman has been somebody historically that has always been very active in terms of looking for upgrades, not just this year, but in the past. Like if a star player is available or thought to be available, Kobe Altman is making the phone call to that team. Whether or not something comes to fruition, obviously, is a different story, but you don't end up with Donovan Mitchell on your team unless you have a decision maker that's willing to do that. But for this to get to this point where it's become such widespread knowledge, and to, I started to hear whispers about Harden yesterday afternoon, and I heard it from a different team, and they said, I'm just not sure that this is something that I would deem likely. And then to see the news break last night, it does kind of all make sense to me that this is coming out.
Danny Cunningham joining us from Cleveland Magazine. Like, it makes me, my antennas went up because it's like, all right, one thing, Giannis is one thing. Giannis is Giannis. James Harden, there's considerable baggage there. And the way we talk about the NBA here, we talk about a lot of the Cavs. We talk about the teams they play against in the East. He's been predominantly a Western Conference guy. And I got to tell you, Danny, like a lot of the times we talk about James Harden has been for other things. Does he have a gut? Does he not have a gut? Strip clubs, casinos, all the other stuff, not wanting to play for the teams. A mercurial figure, if you will. And when I hear about this, I go, oh, God. And my thought was, this kind of reeks of desperation here. Does this mean that the clock is sped up faster than what some fans think with this current iteration of the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I think that could be part of it, certainly. I don't think that's the entirety of it. Like, I do think the one thing that, and I'm not necessarily in love with this trade if I'm the Cavs. I think that they could do better than James Harden for Darius Garland if they really want to move off of Garland. But the one thing that James Harden historically does have going for him is he's pretty available, right? Like, this is a guy that does not miss a lot of basketball games, and unfortunately you cannot say the same thing about Darius Garland in that regard, and I think that is part of this conversation too. Now, the one thing that I will point to and say I'm not sure this makes a ton of sense is the Cavs are very clearly right now a team that is looking to get over the hump in the postseason. James Harden's track record is not exactly that of somebody who's had a lot of postseason success. So that's the one thing that I look at and say, I just don't know that this is the right fit. From the availability standpoint, I get it. From the, needing to win now in the Eastern Conference being wide open, where it certainly is. Like, if you look at the betting odds, yesterday the Cavs were on FanDuel the fourth most likely team to come out of the Eastern Conference. I've not checked this morning, but before I went to bed, I checked last night, and they were tied with the Detroit Pistons as the favorites once this news came out that this was even a possibility. So I do think that this is something that could elevate the Cavs, but this is far from like a sure thing, in my opinion, to make them the favorites in the Eastern Conference or to say that their postseason odds are better. Like, is James Harden more likely to be healthy in the postseason than Darius Garland? Yes, I think that's fair to say. Are we sure he's going to be better than Darius would be in the postseason? That I'm not so sure of.
All right, Danny Cunningham with us. You said that you thought you could get a better return. Obviously, the thought has been that this, no matter who they're going to be potentially trading Darius Garland for, it's going to be selling low. So given that, who do you think they could get that would move the needle more? And all things considered, because he's got a player option, James Harden. I don't know whether he'd pick that up or not, because this guy always seems to sign new contracts and get more money. So what do you make of all of that, and who do you think that they could get?
So I do think with the Harden stuff, because the player option does matter here. And I don't necessarily think the fact he's making roughly $300,000 less than Garland matters that much for the apron watchers out there. I do think that this is a move that theoretically could give the Cavs a little bit more future financial flexibility if Harden doesn't pick up that option, because Garland's contract is 2 fully guaranteed years longer than what Harden has. So I do think that's something that matters. I do know the Cavs have poked around on a lot of different star players. What exactly that definition of star is, I'm not entirely sure. But, I ask somebody that could be available, would you rather trade Darius Garland for James Harden, or would you rather trade him for Michael Porter Jr.? What's a better fit there? I think
I'll stop you right there, Dave. Sorry to interrupt. Wow. I said Michael Porter Jr. I said that yesterday.
You did.
Obviously, you're always beware the guy that's putting up great stats on a bad team. The good thing about him is he's also performed on the biggest stages.
Right, and the question with him is he has had a lot of significant histories in the past too. And I do think there are some basketball fit things where it's the Cavs do need somebody, and part of the reason why I like the move for Dennis Schroeder from over the weekend is they need somebody that can get into the paint. And Michael Porter Jr. not necessarily a creator in a way that James Harden would be. I do think there are good things about Harden that would fit. I think he'd make Evan Mobley better. I think he'd make Jared Allen better. I think that the offense would run through the bigs a little bit more because he has been such a great passer in his career. But I do look at it. It's hard for me to come up with names because I don't exactly know who is available across the NBA. I would not have thought prior to yesterday afternoon that James Harden was a guy that we would see come up in trade talks. But this is a league that never fails to surprise anybody when it comes to those things.
Danny Cunningham joining us on the show. So why would the Clippers be interested in Darius Garland? Which sounds terrible, but we've been saying it. They're like, well, who are you going to trade Darius Garland for in a superstar? Sorry, go ahead, Danny.
Because one, when he's healthy, he is an awesome basketball player. He is an offensive engine when he's healthy. The Clippers very clearly do need to pivot away from their current era where they're out so many draft picks and exchanging James Harden, who we can say is a better basketball player right now than Darius Garland. That's fine. But he's also 10 years older than Darius Garland. And this is a way Darius Garland, I think, is among the most talented players at his age group that is theoretically available right now that the Clippers could get. When they're out as many draft picks as they are that they owe to the Oklahoma City Thunder because of the Paul George trade, they don't have a lot of financial flexibility. This is a way for them to try and pivot to that next era where they can try and build around this 26-year-old two-time All-Star that fits in well basically with everybody basketball-wise, right? I think he'd be an excellent fit when he's healthy with Kawhi Leonard. It's just with that duo. How frequently are those guys going to be available is a fair question. So this is a way for them to really not bottom out in the future. And I think that he could be a good piece for them to try and rebuild around. Now, I also think that they would need to attract another star at a certain point because Kawhi Leonard is not going to last forever there, but they're in Los Angeles, and it's much easier to do that there than it is in most other markets.
Danny, thank you very much for the time. We do appreciate you jumping on with us. We know it's been a wild morning, wild overnight as well. Everybody read him in Cleveland Magazine, Inside Shot on Substack. Listen to him on The Fan. Danny Cunningham. Danny, thank you.
Have a great day, guys.
And Danny's on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Wright hotline. So, I mean, there's something that makes sense. Like, that sounds demeaning towards Darius Garland. I'm not trying to be mean-spirited. I've been defending his presence on this basketball team for the better part of 3 years now. The issue is that we've all kind of came to this agreement here of common sense of, well, it's going to be really hard to trade him for a dynamic player or a wing. Well, yeah, James Harden is a great player. He's not a wing. But it was going to be hard to trade him because he's diminutive in size and he's always hurt. And so Danny gave great reasoning to it. We will also have Chris Mannix, SI, Sports Illustrated, the NBA on NBC. He'll join us coming up at 8:40 this morning. He's the one who broke this news. Chris Mannix is going to join us on the show 8:40 this morning. We got one segment to get to you guys in between with Chris Mannix. I want James Harden or Darius Garland. Which one would you rather keep, Darius, or would you rather bring in James Harden? Because I think the Cavs are telling you without telling you that it's DEFCON 1 time. Ken Carman, Tone Master General on The Fan.
Yeah.
minor league contract, invite to spring training. Last season, Allard appeared in 33 games for the Guardians, win 2-2, a 2.63 ERA. And G League action last night, Cleveland Charge wins on the road, beating College Park 133-115. Tonight, don't miss the NFL Pro Bowl games, courtesy of Westwood One. Coverage starts at 7:30 right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
You missed a moment in the show? Hell, shouldn't do that. Use the rewind feature on the Odyssey app, powered by Integrated Restoration, your local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. If you missed this moment, shame. It's Danny Cunningham on why the Cavs are targeting James Harden.
I do think the one thing that, and I'm not necessarily in love with this trade if I'm the Cavs. I think that they could do better than James Harden for Darius Garland if they really want to move off of Garland. But the one thing that James Harden historically does have going for him is he's pretty available, right? Like, this is a guy that does not miss a lot of basketball games, and unfortunately, you cannot say the same thing about Darius Garland in that regard, and I think that is part of this conversation too. Now, the one thing that I will point to and say I'm not sure this makes a ton of sense is the Cavs are very clearly right now a team that is looking to get over the hump in the postseason. James Harden's track record is not exactly that of somebody who's had a lot of postseason success. So that's the one thing that I look at and say, I just don't know that this is the right fit.
That's Danny Cunningham. Hear more of that, 923thefan.com. Chris Mannix, Sports Illustrated, NBA on NBC. He's going to join us coming up at 8:40. He broke this overnight, so he's going to be working on very little sleep, so you better be cordial to him. So I got a little bit of a question there from what Danny just said. Can they do better than James Harden? And if they can do better than James Harden, why aren't they doing better than James Harden? There's a lot of people who do not want this trade. A lot of Cavs fans who don't want this trade. Now, I have had several people, and it's just the internet, so who knows if it counts. But I have had several people going, that many, we're at 70% of the people polled who said they don't want to trade Darius Garland for James Harden. There have been several people going, well, because that many fans don't want that trade. That's why they want that trade. You're not going to find anything perfect for Darius Garland, because I think if you could find the perfect player for Darius Garland, you wouldn't trade Darius Garland. He's not the perfect player. As Danny illustrated, he's an offensive machine when he's healthy. When's he healthy? I don't know. He ain't been healthy for the better part of 4 years. He is a diminutive man in size. However, he plays with a lot of confidence, and when he's on, boy, he's on. And he's a lot of fun to watch. But what Danny said in the latter part of that, boy, that's 100% true, and that's why I think right now it's an unpopular thing to say, and I'm not wincing about it. I'm not gonna get into a shouting match with people. We've had several people disagree, and that's fair. Lima, you disagree? I'm like, yeah, I'd make this trade, because I think this tells us that they're not sure about Donovan's future here. I think this tells us that they feel that this is the time they really have to try to do their damnedest to cash in with a player that they can move to bring in another player that can still be a part of a quote-unquote core four, whatever that means by the end of the year.
The reason I'm against it is, in a vacuum, if this is it, if this is the last deal they make, then it doesn't really solve a lot of their prevailing issues come playoff time. And it's not just that, like, James Harden has had big playoff moments. People don't ever think of those because they've been overshadowed by some of the worst Game 7s you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And he's just had out-of-body experiences where he has melted down in a way that very few athletes have. Like, to see a guy as talented as him, I talked about it before, 3-time scoring champ, 5 times top 3 MVP finishes. He's got an MVP.
He's 2018, right?
He's really good, and he's still really good. He's tapered off a bit once Kawhi Leonard became the focal point again of their offense. His efficiency numbers have kind of dropped off a cliff, Harden, but he still is capable of having huge nights, and he's still one of the best passers in the league. His passing is dynamic. I could see them salivating at him getting the ball to guys in the perfect spots because he can do that. And he gets to the foul line. Problem is in the playoffs, they don't let him get to the foul line nearly as much, but he is still a workhorse that can get to the foul line, which can prop up his efficiency numbers higher than they would be otherwise.
So you're against all this? Because you're saying a lot of nice things.
But I'm against it because who who are they? He gets picked on in the playoffs too, and he's technically 6'4", 6'5". He gets picked on by now. He's good at kind of digging down on big men and stripping the ball and doing a lot of that. But as far as your prototypical defense, he can't guard any wings, so that doesn't solve that issue. So that to me is why Michael Porter Jr. I'm with Danny Cunningham when he brought up that name. Trey Murphy is another name that I kind of like at somebody who's 6'8" and can shoot the ball, even though his 3-point numbers aren't where they've been, but definitely a big-time shot creator, for the Pelicans. But if it's Harden, I am a little surprised. It's almost acts like a desperation move.
Oh, I think it is.
In some ways.
Oh, I think it is. Without a doubt.
Do you have any faith that Garland would do even if he was healthy? I'm out on him as a playoff player, right? Like, I've made that. I thought last year when Jimmy Butler was available, they should have traded him last year for Jimmy Butler if they could make that happen. Obviously, he ended up with the Warriors.
Now he's injured.
Right, and now he's out for the year. But, I mean, Harden, at least I know he's had wilting performances in the playoffs. He's had a ton of playoff performances, though, and more good than bad. But there have been enough bad to be notable.
Well,
but at least I know.
Yeah.
At least I know that he's going to be there, and at least I know that the opportunity for him to have a big playoff moment for the Cavs would be there. I don't trust that Darius Garland would have any. He hasn't shown me anything.
Yeah, that's the whole thing of it. Is that Darius is wilted in certain spots, and I think part of that is not his fault because I just think he's small in size and that they can push him off his spots. And I think if you hear me say that sentence, it's like, well, then go get James Harden or just go get whoever else.
I wish
think
last
that
year's
they're desperate.
performance wouldn't have been against the Heat because, and I'm one that throws it out there, the Heat were a bad team. They didn't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Ooh, yeah.
And I would hope that Darius was going to play that way against anybody that he played in the playoffs. But I didn't see that any other opportunity they had. Against the Knicks, he was not even there.
Not good.
Against the Celtics, same thing in the 2 seasons prior to that.
Let me get to Chuck in Collinwood. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Chuck.
Fellas, what it do, man?
What's going on, Chuck? Do you want to make this trade?
I've been wanting to trade Garland. So, for one, let's say this. Last year, remember when we had the impeccable run at the beginning of the season? Mm-hmm. No Garland. Start winning games this year, no Garland in. For one, he's injury prone, but two, I mean, the chemistry is better without him. He's a good decision maker, good player, good assist guy, but the fit, when defense is attacking somebody, it's going to be him. Now, they do. Lima, you almost had me hang up because you said, yeah, Harden gets picked on too, definitely. But I'll take the attributes that come with Harden over Garland any day.
See, I just don't know if you're going to get much better. Chuck, I'm with you, and thank you for the call. I don't think you're going to get much better than this. Yeah, he's 36 years old. Yeah, I know.
It is weird.
You're not going to hold on for a very, very long time.
I didn't know if this was just going to go down as a noisy number. One of those numbers that it's hard because Darius has been kind of injured all year. They are 17-8 this year without him. And that's gotten to a point, like if I told the average fan that, do you realize they're 17-8 this year with Garland? And I think, what are they, below 500 or around 500 with him? That's not necessarily fair because he's been banged up when he's been playing a lot of times, and he's looked good. Like the last month when he's actually played, he's looked pretty good. Again, he can't play defense. And now with another toe injury and now another contraption they're building in his shoe. By the way, the other teams know that too when they're trading for him.
He's not the grappler, man. This is a basketball player. S. Gage, I hope I'm saying that last name right. Isn't Harden's contract up after the year? Trade is about cap relief. I don't believe that whatsoever.
He's got a player option.
You get some cap relief out of it, but I mean, if Donovan Mitchell just says, you know what, the hell with this, I'm not wasting my prime on this, it's certainly not about cap relief.
The cap
you can
relief,
make plenty of moves
they are
out there.
so high that the cap relief, I don't know how much that necessarily does for them because what do we think there's going to be free agents they're still going to be above the first apron?
Yeah.
It's still going to be hard for them to really add.
But I got to tell you, I think that this is part of what people pay attention to their own team. And if they're listening to us, how often have we talked about James Harden? It's always been about silly things.
Well, it's always playoff time when things go south.
And it's always been about other things that are not like he's a bad dude or anything. Like he's not like in trouble with the law, but there's always like he's kind of fat some years, and then he's kind of not. He basically decides when he wants to be in shape,
and
which is incredible.
He is in shape this year.
He is in shape.
He's actually been more explosive getting to the rim. And he's getting to the foul line like crazy.
And so I think that it's amazing where a lot of people don't want to do it because they pay attention to their own teams. We don't necessarily talk about those other teams. You can start tonight by watching Detroit against Denver instead of the Pro Bowl games, according to Lima. But either way, I think when you hear all that, you end up not wanting a guy, you call him overrated. And when you call a guy overrated, a guy who a lot of people have lined up on the phones over the last 3 years saying, trade Darius Garland. We don't need him. He's not part of the core four. We don't need him. Now all of a sudden it becomes, don't low ball me. I know what I got. Because the only things we've said about James Harden over the last 3 years are pretty negative things. We've made a lot of jokes on About Last Night about James Harden. In the playoffs, like you said, and strip clubs and casinos and all that stuff. So you don't necessarily see, and plus, the step back threes that end up at the foul line, trying to draw fouls, that type of thing. It goes very negative. And he's an easy one to attack on that end. And so when you only hear the negative stuff, and Chris Manx is going to join us coming up here in less than 10 minutes. SI, he's the one who broke this. When you only hear that, like, okay, yeah, there's definite negatives with Darius, but it's not like that. Like, Darius will still line up and play. It's just he's not healthy.
By the way, this is just...
James is healthy. But here I'm saying I think that they're telling you that they are much more desperate than we know. And if you're in the conversation about James Harden, it's like they know all these bad things about James Harden and how much of a not wing he is. Yeah, and it seems like they're willing to do so. So that means I think that there's some other people who are more than willing to leave sooner than later.
Real quick, The Ringer does their updated almost like every other week. They update their top 100. I was curious to see where Harden was because I knew he was really low last year in a bad way. But he's 24th right now in the NBA, so he's still at 36 years old, a top 25 player. They have Darius Garland in the 60s.
And where's James Harden?
24th.
24th, okay. Did you say that? Yeah. I didn't. I'm sorry. I was reading the one thing where Jason says, okay, he's in shape. So was Kemp. Then he got here, experienced Cleveland, and was like bleeping. All right, coming up next, Chris Mannix going to join us. SI, the NBA on NBC and DAZN. He broke this last night. Cavs in talks, not monitoring the situation, in talks with the Clippers for James Harden. We get it straight from the source, Chris Mannix, in his sources, next on The Fan.
It's Anthony Lima for Finale.
Appeared in 33 games for the Guards, went 2-2, a 2.63 ERA. G League action last night. Cleveland Charge wins at College Park 133-115. Tonight, don't miss the NFL Pro Bowl games, courtesy of Westwood One. Coverage starts at 7:30 right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Hear from new Browns coach Todd Monken today at noon on 92.3 The Fan.
Let's go to the Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. This guy broke it last night, overnight, so I can't imagine he's had any sleep. Of course, this is a busy time of year for him. Chris Mannix joining us right now on that Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. He is from Sports Illustrated, the NBA on NBC, and DAZN. Chris, good morning to you. How far has conversation progressed between the Cavaliers and the Clippers as far as making a trade and sending James Harden to the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I think it's progressed to a pretty significant point. I mean, it's not a overly complicated deal to finalize. You don't need a third team involved necessarily because the salaries are nearly identical. As I reported last night, the Cavs want some draft compensation back in this deal. They asked for a first-round pick. The Clippers said no. They asked for some kind of swap, and the Clippers turned that down as well. I don't know that, when it comes to this trade, that's a deal breaker necessarily. But, that's kind of where I was told it was sort of at, where they've discussed this, this framework, which is, again, not that difficult to piece together. And right now, what they've been talking about mostly is, will there be any draft capital in this trade?
Well, Chris, what's so interesting is that the Cavs, their problems in the playoffs have been fairly obvious. Obviously, James Harden, no stranger to people questioning him in the playoffs. But how would this materially solve their bigger issues, which have been over the years, being able to defend the wings and have that wing presence on the floor?
Well, the short answer is it doesn't. You can see kind of the thinking from the Cavs that, Harden is a wild card. He is an elite regular season player who has historically flamed out in the playoffs. But is he a potentially more productive player for them in the postseason than Darius Garland would be at this point? Probably. I mean, Garland, as you guys know, has kind of been sort of a shadow of himself this season because of the injuries. So I think there's some questions as to, how much were they going to be able to count on him during the postseason? Can he be a high-level guy in this postseason? And look, everything is about this year. I mean, every team in the Eastern Conference, going back to, when the Desmond Bane trade was made early in the season, like every team believes they're maybe a move or a half a move away from, being able to win this thing. There is no boogeyman out there. New York's playing good now, but they were playing bad like 2 weeks ago. Detroit's really good, but I think people see their vulnerabilities when it comes to perimeter shooting and say they're beatable. Boston, Jason Tatum's coming back, and then he's not. Like there's a pathway here, and the way I've interpreted it, these talks that the Cavs have had for James Harden is that this is kind of their high risk, high reward type of swing. If they can catch lightning in a bottle and catch a super motivated James Harden who wants a contract extension, playing his butt off in the playoffs, that they're probably better off if they can get James Harden with him than Darius Garland down the stretch.
Chris Mannix joining us, Sports Illustrated, NBA on NBC, DAZN as well. We put it out to fans. We've had a couple of callers want to make this move, but this is very unpopular with the fans this morning. Would you make this move if you were the Cavaliers? Opinion?
Would I make this move? Probably. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not. I mean, God, I've jumped up and down on James Harden over the years for flaming out. And I just was talking on my podcast recently about kind of how there's danger right now for the Clippers with Harden because he's once again, shouldering a huge burden, right? Like he's playing 35, 36 minutes per game. He's been active in 44 games this year. And that usually spells trouble when the playoffs come around because, he gets tired and sort of fizzles out there. I think if you're Cleveland and you're looking at it, if you don't do this move, if you think that Garland is the future, or if he's going to be part of this team with Mitchell for the next 3 or 4 years. I don't know that they think that. I don't know that they're convinced of that. This, to me, and again, I see what the Cavs are looking at with this season. Like, this has the potential to make them better for 1 year. not for 2 years, not for 3 years. I would be terrified of whatever contract you might have to give James Harden at the end of the season to keep him. But for 1 year and this postseason, I would do it because I think it makes them better.
All right, the start of the year, Harden, especially November, it was gangbusters. That was before really, Kawhi Leonard could kind of get back comfortably into his role. Since then, Harden's been a good player. He's been a durable player, but his efficiency numbers have kind of dropped off. Still getting to the free throw line. As we know, it's a little harder for him to do that once the playoffs come around, the way the game is officiated. What do you think of his game right now?
Yeah, it's. I was looking this up the other day when Kawhi didn't make the All-Star team, because I thought Kawhi should have made the All-Star team. And, over the last month and a half, when the Clippers have been on this kind of 17-4 run that they've been going through, Kawhi's been outstanding, 30-something points, 50% from the floor, 40% from three. Harden's put up the numbers, but his efficiency numbers have cratered. I mean, he's sub 40% from the floor, sub 30% from three. So that's definitely concerning. And I do think that has something to do with the amount of minutes that he's playing. He's 36 years old. He's going to be 37 this year. You can't be burning a guy out like that, playing that many minutes. So I think that's definitely concerning. But I think if you're the Cavs, you're looking at it and you're saying, all right, Garland's been in and out of the lineup. When he's healthy, he's given us about 18 points per game. And I know he's been ramping up since he came back early in the season from the toe recovery. But Harden's a guy that can fill it up. And if you put him in the Eastern Conference and you put him next to another scorer like Donovan Mitchell and you give him some other front court weapons like the Cavs have, I think they believe that he's someone that can make them better, even if his efficiency numbers are not what they used to be.
One final question for me on James Harden. He looked in shape the last few games. I saw him against Denver. He was getting to the rim, didn't always get his shot off, but he was breaking guys down off the dribble still. The three-pointer has always been erratic with him, but when he gets on a run, there might be nobody better. With all that said, is he still the same James Harden where he's leaving the team to go pursue the other entertainment mechanisms that he enjoys? Or is this a more focused, dialed-in James Harden at this stage of his career?
It's a good question. The short answer is I don't really know. I mean, I don't think he's the same guy that he was in Houston. I think when you're talking about the social aspect of it, that was probably the high watermark for James Harden. But look, I do think he's motivated right now. Now, what is he motivated by? I've seen a lot of stuff about he wants to win a championship. I'm sure that's true. But it's far more significant that he's motivated by a new contract. The Clippers have had him on what has basically been a series of one-year deals for the last few years. James Harden wants a multi-year deal. James Harden, he's 36. He wants a deal that takes him close to or through the end of his career. So, again, it all comes down to this season. For this season, I think you can expect to get the very best of James Harden. Beyond that, ask the Nets, ask the Suns, ask the Clippers now. This is kind of a theme with James Harden and where he's been over the years. So I think for this season, you can count on getting, the very best of James Harden in the regular season and the playoffs. And that might be enough for Cleveland to get to the finals. It's not the margin for winning here is not that big. A guy like James Harden could significantly move the needle.
Chris Mannix joining us on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Wright hotline. If the Cavs don't make the NBA Finals, say they stand pat, they don't make the NBA Finals, have you heard anything about Darius maybe wanting out a year early? Is there any threat towards that at all?
I don't know that you're talking about Garland or Mitchell here.
I'm sorry. Did I say get Darius?
Yeah,
I meant
Mitchell.
Donovan.
Yeah.
Donovan.
Yeah.
Yes, Donovan. Sorry.
I have. So it's okay. I have not heard that yet. And Donovan tries to be. It is a great teammate and just a great guy for this organization. I have not heard that, but I think it probably depends on how far they get and how things end. Like if it goes the way it went last year, where they get bounced as early as they did, I would probably be concerned if I was Cleveland about what his mindset's going to be. Does he want to be there? I know they're eligible to give him a pretty massive contract extension. So if he turns that down, then I would certainly get concerned. But this is, unquestionably an important postseason for this organization. You get into next summer and, is Boston reloaded at the start of next year? Does a deal go down involving Giannis that maybe brings him to an Eastern Conference team and loads them up? Like this is the window here for the Cavs. I think it's what motivated, some of the moves they've already done with the Keon Ellis deal, and it's what's motivating them right now to have these kind of substantial talks with the Clippers.
It does seem like there have been plenty of talks, not just with the Cavs, but plenty of teams angling to get into the Giannis sweepstakes. I did ask, Kobe Altman, how's he got to be thinking that not only might you not get Giannis, but that another team in the Eastern Conference does get Giannis? How much of that is prevalent in this thinking? And is the Giannis stuff to Cleveland just too far-fetched?
Yeah, I have not heard any. Look, I'll say this about Giannis. And anything can happen, of course, but I just feel like I'm getting more and more signals that this is going to get punted to the off season. For a number of reasons. One is that the offers just they have a tendency to get better in the off season. And I've talked to people with teams that want Giannis, and I would say they've been kind of encouraging the Bucks to wait and say, look, we can make a better offer come the off season. I think the Bucks are keenly aware of that. And this is such a big moment for Milwaukee. Like they have to get this right. They have to, get the biggest possible trade package back for Giannis. They've been after multiple first round picks and young pieces. Those kind of offers, they're kind of ish there, but they're not great at the moment. So the sense that I've been getting over the last 24 hours is that this is trending more and more like a decision that's going to be made by Milwaukee in the offseason. And then look, that's, you have to talk about, does that motivate the Cavs? I'm sure it does. Like if he winds up in New York and suddenly the Knicks have Giannis instead of Towns, that's big. If he winds up in Miami and Miami can use him the centerpiece of their team, that's big for them. So I think this is one of those years that if you got an opportunity to push your chips in, you got to think long and hard about doing it.
Will LeBron James be a Laker at the end of this year? I should say past Thursday. Will it be a Laker next year?
Yeah, he will be a Laker past Thursday. I feel pretty comfortable saying that at this point. Next year, so many variables. Like he plays next year. I've never really bought into the idea this could be LeBron's last season because I feel like he's going to want the full Kobe, right? Like the rocking chair at center court, all the things that come with being, arguably the greatest player of all time. Is he looking to stay in Los Angeles because his family's in Los Angeles? That's the question. How much money does he need at this stage of his career as a player? Is he going to be looking for the maximum possible dollar with whatever team he plays for? I think the Lakers would bring him back. I don't think there's a huge disconnect with the Lakers and LeBron. I just know they're not going to do it for the price tag that he's been accustomed to playing for over the years. So I just think there's a lot of variables with LeBron. I do think he plays next year. As far as his next uniform, I just can't say.
All right, Chris Mannix, this doesn't pertain to basketball. We'll give you a breather here before we get you out. I've seen some crazy stuff happen in a boxing ring. I've seen guys fall through the ropes. I've seen guys have their trunks. Basically, they get depantsed throughout a fight. And we've seen a guy get his ear bitten off. What about a toupee falling off in the ring? That happened over the weekend.
Never in my career have I seen that. I was calling that fight on Saturday at the Garden for DAZN, and I didn't know Jarrell had this hairpiece on, and I've known him for 10 years now. I didn't know this was a thing. He said maybe I should have. He's had almost identical haircuts every day since I've known him.
A testament to the work he's had done.
He's had some great work. I've heard some. I had one of I don't know what the issue was.
Oh, come on.
I don't know what the issue was, but someone on his team had texted me when this whole thing was happening that he had gone to Turkey to get a hair transplant. It didn't really take. So I think that was maybe part of the problem with Jarrell. But I remember sitting this second round, And I could have sworn after one jab from Kingsley eBay that I saw Jarrell's hair move. And I kind of started pointing at the monitor in front of us to my colleague Todd Grisham to see if he had seen it. And then another jab hits and it goes again. Finally, you get the right hand, and that thing pops off like, I don't know, nothing I've ever seen before in my life. And it was just great. Like, the crowd eventually picked up on it. They saw the hair pop off, the replay. That was a new moment in 20 years of covering boxing.
He can't put the hair back on now, can he?
I don't know. I mean, he's got a round head. I think I said to him afterwards, I'm like, just shave it, man. Like, it's not a bad look. You see it all the time in sports. And he's 36, 37 years old. Like, just let it go, man.
I don't know.
Let's buzz that hair off.
It's a calling card now. It seems like it's something he can, like Letterman
It's not
used to have fun with it.
Robot. You can't knock his toupee off every time.
Let me just tell you this one last thing. Is like, one of my regrets. I don't have many broadcasting regrets, but I have my massive regret is that I didn't do like an interview with the toupee on air. Like, the toupee was in the first row. Like, I think it was Guy Nicholson, the boxer, caught it, and then Fabio Wardley, the heavyweight champion, was holding it at one point. Like, why I didn't take my microphone and just, do something with the toupee, I will kick myself for days and weeks after.
A parting gift. Amazing.
Something, anything. That was such an incredible moment. And it's get broken through in the mainstream. You see, Jarrell, by the way, who is a master at maximizing publicity. He has been on every talk show that I've seen over the last 24 hours, leaning all the way into this.
See, Trae Young doesn't know. This could be his future. Who knows?
You never know.
Chris, thank you very much for the time. All the best to you, and we appreciate your time. And I don't know how to end this interview. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You got it, guys.
Thank you. Chris Mannix on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Wright hotline. On the Make It Right, Call Kyle Wright hotline. All right, I want to ask you guys, is this a trade you would make? The internet hates this. The internet absolutely hates this. There's a lot of Cavs fans who are going crazy right now. One person actually said this be worse than the Deshaun Watson trade. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. It's going out there right now. I'd make the trade. I'm not thrilled about it, but I'd make the trade. I'll tell you why coming up next on The Fan.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
there's a pathway here. And the way I've interpreted it, these talks that the Cavs have had for James Harden is that this is kind of their high risk, high reward type of swing. If they can catch lightning in a bottle and catch a super motivated James Harden who wants a contract extension, playing his butt off in the playoffs, that they're probably better off if they can get James Harden with him than Darius Garland down the stretch.
That was Chris Mannix moments ago. He had the big story overnight that the Cavs and the Clippers could be pulling off a massive deal before the trade deadline. Here's your chance to win a pair of tickets to Post Malone presents the Big Ass Stadium Tour with Jelly Roll and Carter Faith on Thursday, June 25th, Huntington Bank Field. Enter the word fall, F-A-L-L. By the end of this hour, 923thefan.com to get registered to win, courtesy of Live Nation. Tickets on sale Tuesday, February 10th at 10 a.m. Ticketmaster.com. That's fall. By the end of the hour, 923thefan.com.
I would make this trade, and I will tell you why. Is because it makes me feel that they're closer to desperation than any of us knew as we went to bed last night. NBA trades tend to happen in the middle of the night. Big conversations tend to happen in the middle of the night. This has widely been panned by Cavs fans. But I'm not excited saying, there is no person on this show. Lima would not make the trade, so I'm not calling anybody stupid and saying you guys are idiots and you guys have to make this trade.
Mannix kind of paused when we flat out asked him. Yes. And he's like, I think I do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's...
I want to shop around first still. I want to keep shopping until Thursday at 3.
Boy,
right?
I'm with you. Oh, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But you got to understand the situation. Do you think that this is a team that can get... We talked about this last year when Tatum went down and then after Tyrese Halliburton went down. Is this not the clearest runway you're going to get? We all said it. We all agreed.
Yes.
How are you going to feel? Is it 4 o'clock on Thursday?
I think it's 4 o'clock.
Okay. How are you going to feel at 4:30 on Thursday if Giannis is in Philadelphia and James Harden is in somewhere else in the East? How are we going to feel?
Well, right now I don't feel like they're winning the NBA championship. I don't feel like they're making it to the finals. I don't think they're winning the Eastern Conference. So now,
isn't it nut cutting time?
Well, that's where I'm at right now. I'm not overly excited about doing this trade, but at the same time, I see what's going on right now and I want to make a change. So if this is the change that has to be made, then I guess this is the change. But it's just you've used so many food analogies and all that, right? And I know that I've got a good leftover in the fridge right now with this trade. It's at least something that can sustain me. But I want to go see if there's something better right now. We've got time. We've still got, over 24 hours. There's plenty of time. I want to go out and see what else we can find with it.
If we're going to make food analogies, I'm willing to. I'll accept it. I'll tell you this. It's the overrated restaurant that everybody has to have their pictures at they put on Instagram. Where you're like, okay, what am I going to eat afterwards? I'm still hungry here. I'd rather just get a Moons over my hammy. I'm not going to name names of any restaurants. Not taking any shots here in Cleveland. I'm just saying this is what it is.
Right. We can find something better before that, then we'll just go do that.
I can go to that steak place and I get some fries and steak and I'm going to be filled up. I can go to a nice steakhouse.
Nice.
I can go to a nice steakhouse and slop them up if I want to. But this is where we're at right now. And because they are doing this, either A, neither are good situations, guys. I got to spell this out. A bad situation is that Donovan Mitchell, there's some worries about him just like, hey, if you get to the second round again and get bounced, you're going to have hell to pay this offseason where he's going to want out of here. Or number two, and this really isn't a good situation, Big Dan is involved again, and he's rolling up his sleeves, and he is working his trade machine. And I know how we feel about meddling owners here in Cleveland, Ohio. I can't imagine you'd love this. People are comparing this. Somebody put it out. Real Cavs fans compared this to Nico Harrison and Hold My Beer. I got a couple of tweets here about comparing this possible move to Deshaun Watson, which I think it would be obviously different, but I think that we would go back to examination at some point about this deal. But
yeah, we didn't know that at the time that Watson couldn't play. Like right now, we know Harden can play. He's still playing at a very high level. Like I told you, in the Ringers Top 100, they still had him as the 24th overall player in the NBA. They have Darius, and it's not all his fault because of the injuries. They have him in the 60s. And obviously a big part of this, too, is the contract situation for James Harden, who has this 1 year left a player option, and his camp apparently, and despite the fact that, and it's kind of here we go again with James Harden, but their team has played the best basketball of anybody in the NBA over the last 24 games or so. Their record, I think they've only lost 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. And his camp, his agency is like, where's our contract extension? And they're like, whoa, hold on. We are in a bit of a transition period here with the team. We're just trying to get through this season. And when that happened, apparently, according to reports that came out in the middle of the night, I might not want to play again for the Clippers. So that's happened like 5 times in his career where he's done that. So it's kind of like a buyer's beware big time when it comes to James Harden.
So you already, because if he's not happy in L.A., and I know guys like, we all think like this, so let's be honest. Is a guy in L.A. who's played for the Clippers going to be happy here?
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to
he can
come
make
to that conclusion.
He can make life on you very difficult. So this has to be done. And honestly, guys, are they making this move? I'll say the quiet part out loud. Are they making this move? Had they not known? Are they just doing this in a clandestine fashion and not asking Donovan about anything? Where we know that Jason has documented that history before. Now, this was a while ago. This was a couple years ago, where Donovan was not thrilled with the attitude of Darius Garland, seemingly not taking things seriously enough. Kind of, goofball, assing off type stuff. And Jason has documented that on our show. Now, I don't always agree with Jason on opinion, but there's been a lot of report stuff that I have to go with because they've been founded. So this is what we're dealing with here. And maybe Donovan is thinking, I can work with James Harden. Maybe James Harden. Who knows this is a league where guys text each other all the time and try to do this. It is a desperate move. It is a desperate move. And I think there's clearly serious ramifications if it doesn't go well. But I think there's serious ramifications if you don't make the move and it doesn't go well. And here you are. We've been saying this for 2-3 years now. How are you going to move Darius Garland for a wing? And James Harden ain't no wing. I know that. But is it the best player you're going to get that's not a wing? Yeah, probably. Unless there's somebody else out there that we ain't talking about. We weren't talking about James Harden before yesterday, so who knows what's going to happen tonight. 216-474-0092. Enzo, the baker in Cleveland. He's next up on the fan. Yellow.
Good morning, Ken. Morning, Anthony. Just listening to you guys talk about this potential James Harden trade. Just what I'm thinking is I'm not too sure James Harden really fits the Cavaliers' system. Would you guys agree with me on that?
I don't know if James Harden really fits anybody's system anymore at this time. I think you just make it fit. You put talent on the floor and you go, all right, make it happen. Kenny, this is your job, which is a terrible answer for you, Enzo, but I think that's the way people think about this guy.
Yeah, I can definitely see with that. Just I know he's a better player than Garland, but he's a guy who wants the ball a lot more. He prefers to just drop 30 a night and prefers to just dribble around and take a step back three and drive to the basket. And defense, there's not much of a trade-off really, but we'll see what happens.
Enzo, thank you very much for the call. Lima, you don't want to make this move, but you're not.
Because I'm kind of in the Owen camp. Yes, James Harden's better than Darius Garland, even in the playoffs. He's better than Darius Garland. Do I have to repeat that? Do fans know that? Do Cavs fans know that? Even the biggest of
I think they think it,
Garland apologists. They know that, right?
Man, but we don't. But we don't talk about him anymore. The Clippers
but they
have been
the league.
Do they? Do they, Anthony? Do you really? We might get a book report from Taylor Tolliver, who's a big basketball guy, who's a listener of ours, about the game that you wanted people to watch tonight. Denver and Detroit. Are we really? Are there that many people? I think that because he's played on a team that is surging right now, but started off terribly, that he plays with Kawhi Leonard when Kawhi decides to play. And we don't talk about James Harden that much, except when we're making fun of him. I think a lot of people don't. I think they think that his era has passed, and they don't know that it's like, hey, he's still averaging 25 a night on a team that's surging.
Well, yeah, but we have a responsibility here to get that out. And Anthony brought up he's 24th right now.
Yeah,
in the I don't remember what the
Ringer
name.
Top 100.
Ringer's Top 100, right? Darius is in the 60s. We've all, and I will keep beating this horse forever that, Donovan came out at the end of last season and said the regular season doesn't matter. And so I've accepted that. I'm cool with it. I didn't like the way things were going in December and early January, but they seem to have turned some corner on that. they still need to do something to make the roster better and the team better going into the playoffs. And I know what they currently have isn't good enough. So if that means that bringing in James Harden is the only option, then that's the option, guys. But it's the only way we can improve that. But we've seen he is a top 25 player right now in the league. And I would like to take a chance with a guy who's a top 25 player and adding him to the roster.
All right. I mean, I don't want to go by, and you're right, but I don't want to go by just ringer stuff, but it's the reference we're going to go for.
We have until Thursday, and if we can get the Michael Porter Jr. thing was great yesterday. I'd love to do that, too, if we can do that.
Well, let me ask you, right off the tippy top here, Tone, where's Evan? Where is, on your rankings there? I'm going to send you on a goose chase here. Where's Evan? Where's Donovan?
Evan is 13th. And which I think is a little charitable. Donovan Mitchell's 8th.
3 top 25 players, a wide open East.
All right,
guys,
Evans,
it's not a popular move.
That was an older ringer. He was 22nd in the most recent last week.
Who, Evan?
Evan, yes.
Okay, still 3 top 25 players by that metric. And East
knows?
That's wide open.
Are we getting Max Strus back? Obviously, Keon Ellis is exciting that he can defend guards. I don't think he can really defend wings at a high level, but he can defend guards. So the makeup of this team could transform dramatically after the Hunter trade and now this. The Cavs are active. So anybody that ever said, hey, why don't our Cleveland teams push all the chips in the middle of the table? What is Kobe Altman and the Cavaliers organization telling you over the past 48 hours? And by the way, trade deadline is still when? Kenny, still
Thursday,
a couple
I
of
believe,
days.
4 o'clock.
So there's still time that this roster composition completely transformed in a matter of a week.
All right. I'm going to get to some of you guys. 216-474-0092. I say yes to the trade begrudgingly. I'm not Super Bowl super bronzing over it. Lima is still saying no. Lima's saying stick. 216-474.
It's 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
3 p.m. on Thursday.
216-474-0092. What do you want to do, guys? You guys ready to move on from Darius Garland for James Harden? The talks are a progression, according to Chris Mannix from SI, NBC Sports, and DAZN. It's Fat and Thin in the morning on The Fan. Friends, Ken Carman.
this evening at 7:30 right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
This has the potential to make them better for 1 year. Not for 2 years, not for 3 years. I would be terrified of whatever contract you might have to give James Harden at the end of the season to keep him. But for 1 year and this postseason, I would do it because I think it makes them better.
Well, and I think some of the hesitancy, that's Chris Mannix, who broke this story last night. He was just on with us at 8:40 this morning. Hear more of that at 923thefan.com. You know, this makes us championship or bust. Isn't it already championship or bust? So you got to ask, you got to give me good reasoning why it makes us a worse team or not better. And I think a lot of us have only paid attention to the negative. And I love this because I'm telling you, it's showing you how important Darius Garland really is to this basketball team. Because I bet there's a lot of the same people who have been. And hey, when you lose big games and when you lose in the postseason, frustration boils over. We all have said things out of anger, out of losing that we maybe want to take back. God knows I did in week 1. But there's been a lot of people who have brought up Darius Garland and said how not part of the future he is, how I'm not part of the core 4 he is. And then it's like, okay, yeah, we'll trade him for James Harden. Whoa, hold on here. Whoa, it's like, okay, so I guess we do think he's a valuable player then. We do think that Darius Garland is really, really good. Because if he was as bad as what some of us were making him out to be,
let's be honest.
If he was as bad as that, then you get him out of here as soon as you could.
It's the idea of what, if all systems go, if Garland was ever healthy.
The idea.
Okay. It's what he could be if that ever happened. It never has. It's kind of like the idea of DeAndre Hunter. The idea of DeAndre Hunter as a 6'8", wing, scorer, shooter, defender, that's great. Didn't look like it was trending towards him ever realizing that this year.
It's a shame, too, because he was the cat's ass last year.
Yeah,
man.
He was. People forget that already, like how good he was in the playoffs last year.
Let's go phones. Sean in South Euclid. Yellow.
Hey, how you guys doing this morning?
Doing wonderful, Sean. Go right on ahead.
Hey, Ken, I'm right along with you. I could not want this trade anymore.
Well, I am a little bit. I have a little bit of trepidation. I gotta admit,
I'm not hesitant because first of all, the Cavs this year are 17-8 without Darius Garland, 13-13 with him. So to say that Garland is that important to the team where they play almost 700 basketball without him, if I see that, the Cavs see that. Okay? So also, do we really believe James Harden is going to pick up his player option next year? I don't. So
no. Overnight reporting kind of came out too that he wanted another 2-year extension, $80 million, $40 each.
Exactly. So the way I see it, and the way Kobe Altman is probably seeing it, he's probably not banking on Harden picking up his option next year, which puts the Cavs way below the second apron, which makes it a lot easier for you to go for Giannis if he's not traded by Thursday. So it's kind of a win-win situation. Like, you already proven that you can win without Garland. You're going into the playoffs with someone who will actually be available and actually has playoff experience. If it doesn't work, you can still give it one more chance by getting under the second apron in the offseason, and now you have a chance to get Giannis. So that's why I'm like, just get the trade done. Get it done. Heck, the last 3 seasons the Cavs have played almost 700 basketball without Garland.
Now, does it – okay, so it clearly it doesn't matter to you. Like, because when we had Chris Mannix on, we did ask him about Giannis, and he was saying it's trending more and more towards him staying till the end of the year, or at least through the end of the year. So, like, that doesn't put heat on you. Now, hey, things can change in the next 48 hours. So, I mean, we could say, oh, yeah, it's trending, and somebody comes in with a hell of a deal, and then that's it. But let's go from what it is. Say the Cavs stand pat, no trade for James Harden. Giannis stays in Milwaukee. You feel any better? Or, like, if James Harden ends up somewhere else as a consolation prize for those going after or for Giannis, are you going to feel worse about all this?
You're saying if we stay
like if James Harden ends up anywhere else, are you going to feel like sick, or are you going to be? Because I would make the trade, Sean. But
well, look at
I have several questions. Several.
What teams are going to give up multiple players for Garland? No one, right?
Nobody.
Not at this point.
No.
So who are your two choices in terms of matching salary that would even remotely make sense? James Harden and Zion Williamson. Those are your two choices.
It makes sense. Yeah. No, I mean, it's right.
So if you don't trade for – I feel worse about the Cavs if they don't make this trade, because when Garland is healthy, you're going to have to play him. You're going to have to play him in the playoffs, and everything has shown that he's a net negative when he's on the court.
Okay. Sean in South Euclid. Sound reasoning. Now, I have audio here for everybody. Is it fair to play this audio, or is that going to load up the people who don't want to make this trade even more?
I think they would prefer hearing it because they want what the consensus seemed to be about somebody like James Harden when it's nut-cutting time, and given all the decisions he's made that have kind of put teams in peril.
That's the end of that term, because you just said it. That's your cue to me to stop saying it, so I'm never going to say it again. That's how that works.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's exactly how that works. You know what you do.
What's that got to do with the price of
because you know. Come on, that's something I got to stop saying? I'm not stopping saying that one. That one's going to continue. All right, here's Brian DeMaris. This is the Mavericks pre- and post-game analyst from their radio, but he was on TV when he said this.
So he does pre- and post on TV. He does radio color analyst. Yeah.
And this is him on TV. This is from 2023, but this is a clip going around about James Harden hit it.
Ask the producer to pipe this into the Clippers locker room so I can talk to you, James. I hope you're taking notes. I'm telling you in advance, you're welcome for the wisdom I'm about to spew. Because, listen, I get on my knees every night and pray for someone to believe in me like Daryl Morey believed in you. You wanted a certain coach, they brought in Mike D'Antoni. You want to play a certain style, they played it. You wanted Dwight Howard, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. You wanted Chris Paul, they brought him in and got rid of him when you were tired of him. They brought in your old friend Russell Westbrook. You want to go to Vegas on off days? They looked away. You wanted the team to stay over so you could go out at night. They changed the schedule, and it didn't work. And you know what? You said, I'm going to break up with my whoopee. Not good enough. I see the bright lights in New York. I want to go there. My old pal, Kevin Durant. It's going to work. The big three. And all after 1 year, you wanted out. You realized, oh, my gosh, I took this guy for granted, the guy that believed in me. I went back with Daryl Morey. They traded Ben Simmons for you. How did they pull that off? And you know what? You went there, and you got a partner who got the MVP. He won the MVP. And what did you say afterwards? You said, they didn't hand me the reins. You're the point guard. You were holding the reins. And what did you do when you had the reins? You scored 9 points in Game 7 against Boston. You blew a 3-2 series lead. So they fired their coach. Not good enough. You broke up with your guy, believed in you again. You said, the bright lights of L.A., that's where I want to go. Let's see if that works. Listen, James, have you ever had those friends who had bad roommates? Over and over, they complained about their bad roommates. This guy's terrible. The bad roommate here. They never thought to be self-aware enough that they're the bad roommate. They're the problem. Hey, James, you're the problem. If this doesn't work this year in this system with this team, then you're going to go and point fingers at everybody else, and you're going to go back home and you're going to start swiping right for another team, and there's not going to be anybody left. Because, James, you're not the beard, you're not the system, you're the problem.
Oh, and the mic drop, Devin.
Okay, could have done without the mic drop at the end.
How about good feeling playing in the background? Do you have a good feeling about a potential James Harden trade? Doesn't seem like a lot of our fans do right now. Even the fans that are like, yes, he's better than Darius. No, I wouldn't make this deal. That's very interesting, right?
Because all that stuff right there, I mean, good God, he is a giant pain in the ass.
Oh, he has been every time. I mean, think about it. This is the best stretch that the Clippers have had all year. It's better than any stretch short of Oklahoma City to start the year over the last quarter season. And he wants out because he wants his new contract again.
There'd be more pressure on Donovan. Like, Donovan would have to keep everything in line.
Man, they would have to go to Donovan and say, what do you think about this? They have to. You have to have that conversation. This can't be independent of him.
This move, this potential move, this conversation has set the NBA world on fire overnight. I mean, the Giannis stuff is quieting down. This is huge. I got to ask you. I have nothing to back this up. Let me speculate for a moment. Wouldn't you assume they've already talked to Donovan about such matters?
I would think so, but Donovan is kind of your mercurial in these situations where
he don't have to tell us. He's got to tell them.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be on the hook for this stuff. You know, at times LeBron was like that, where LeBron would be like,
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, like I listen, I have my people to talk to, whatever, but I don't want to be involved in this because I want plausible deniability every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. But I don't think the Cavs are going to throw him under the bus. Maybe the Cavs will try to throw him under the bus when this is all over and he's in a different city and we're getting ready to build again. I don't know. But I think he knows damn well now, like the Cavs, this comes out, Darius is going to have to address it. He's going to have to address it. And I think everybody who's involved in this, if they were to reach out before this and go, is this something you want to do? Because when this comes out, bleep's going to hit the fan. And when it hits the fan, you're going to have questions to answer. So we ain't going to throw each other under the bus here because this is how this stuff works. So yeah, with Donovan's, Darius is a great teammate, and I think we got a great team. You know that's what he's going to say. But would it surprise anybody, considering what Jason wrote a couple years ago? No. And I wouldn't blame the Cavs for asking him, and if this is how he sincerely felt, and I got to assume this is kind of how he feels. You've been playing great basketball. You're 8-2 over your last 10. You're finally getting it going. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to do something like this that could possibly, if it don't go down, these guys got a long memory. Now, it's still up to Darius to go out there and play basketball when he gets back and ready to play basketball. But this is something that's going to be in the back of everybody's head for a long time. So this is rough. This can be rough if they don't execute this trade. And if they do, well, you just heard that. I mean, all that stuff is true. All that stuff has happened. All that stuff is true. He's never been happy in one place for a long time. I don't think he'd be here for a very long time, though, so I don't know if you'd have that much to worry about.
Do you think Dan Gilbert said, because we've had a lot of people come on the air and say, all right, they're paying more than anybody else. They're in the second apron. What are they getting for all this money? And Dan Gilbert told them, maximize my chances now. Do whatever it takes. We can't depend on Darius.
Yes.
We can't depend on Darius. There's no way. Now we're dealing with a second specialty shoe that we're asking our young diminutive point guard to try to start and stop and have bursts.
And of all that, I think that is exactly it. And then I think you ask Donovan if this is something you're down with because you know it's going to raise hell when it gets out there. And it's out there and we're raising hell. When you're comparing it to the Deshaun Watson trade, while that might be a first blush type of overreaction, you know people are raising some serious hell. Jeremiah in Cleveland, yellow.
Yeah, man. I think if you go and get James Harden, man, you trying to make this team serious, you better go get Zubats for the playoffs too, man. Zubats for Allen.
Yeah, they're not.
For Allen?
Zubac. They're not doing that.
Okay. I'm sorry. Jeremiah, thank you very much for the call. Joe in Parma Heights, you're next up for the Fan. On the Fan. Joe.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, just about 3 times a year I have a thing happen where I look at my phone and the first thing in the morning and I say out loud, "Oh, God, no." And my wife looks over at me and I have to say, "Oh, God, I'm so sorry. That was a sports, oh, God, no, not a real, oh, God,
I got to do the same thing. She gets so worked up over it.
There's not a
same exact thing.
There's not a brother or friend that needs my help with a DUI.
Yeah, we didn't, and I won't get political on your show, but it's usually something like that. But I'm not a big Western Conference guy. I think I like the trade we made the other day. I think that looks and sounds, people that know basketball better than I say that it was a pretty good trade. But this is just, God, this is a disaster and just put me strongly in the no column for it.
A disaster. It would be a disaster. Well, now, explain. I'm not going to rip you. Explain why.
The clip you played, Ken, just a few minutes ago.
It's all true.
I can't say it any better than that. There's nothing more. That Philly team, there's nothing more. And just even the picture of this guy, the picture on him on the front page of ESPN.com this morning, he's just so doughy and old and just, my God.
He is in good. That might be an old picture. He is in good shape this year.
I don't know, Ken. It's going to be one of those things where people take a picture of him and post it to you and say, "Hey, isn't this Ken Carman?"
You know what? That might happen.
That'd certainly be so. Well, Joe,
have a good day.
You too. Thank you very much for the call. Let me tell you guys this again. Doesn't it already feel like it's championship or bust? Now that this is out there,
well, I didn't think championship bust. I thought it was finals.
I mean, well, you just said maximize my chances. That means that it's championship or bust because they ain't going to be happy with anything less, and it's a very hard thing to do. But this is where we're at. This high-stakes stuff now. You traded three first-round picks for Donovan Mitchell. You've paid all these guys an exorbitant sum. It would give you some cap relief. Some people have brought that up. Oh, this is more of a – no, you don't just do that. Guys don't do 2-minute promos on guys about how bad a guy they are as a teammate if we're just doing this for cap relief, unless he was 46 years old. And you ain't going to be in the league long enough to be 46 years old because you ain't that great of a teammate. So this is where we're at. So now you have a team that, even with the overtures, is telling you that it's going to be championship or bust. Well, if you get him, it's championship or bust. So that's another reason why it's like, hey, you might as well get the better basketball player, the more sturdy player. You might as well get James Harden, even though it's going to upset a lot of fans. 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, the number 10 in the morning on The Fan.
LINDSEEK.com.
Catch the latest Browns news all off-season long. Stream us on the Odyssey app and on your smart speaker by telling Alexa to play 92.3 The Fan.
Boy, there's a lot of people who don't want to make this trade. They do not want to make the trade. With some of the reasoning for it, guys, like, just say you think that he sucks and you don't want him. Let's not make things up. Lima read some things, and I go, what? About Darius Garland? Someone said he has a higher ceiling than James Harden. James Harden was an MVP.
He was third-team All-NBA last year, which is something Darius has never done.
And you don't want to make the trade. You do not want to trade for James Harden.
But Harden right now is better than Darius Garland. He is. That is a fact.
Okay.
And as far as ceiling,
true.
We can always sit here and hope for guys to hit ceilings if we create this magical place in our head where, oh my God, Darius, we've compared him to Steph Curry, so he has that ceiling. But at some point, it's year 7, and he's never been good in the playoffs or healthy.
Yeah.
So what's his ceiling? You have to, at some point, you have to lower his ceiling. His ceiling is not what you've created in your mind, unfortunately, because he's very skilled. He is. Harden's very skilled too. Harden's more skilled.
A couple of skilled guys we're talking about here. 216-474-0092. All right, what the hell you want to do? Jim in Strongsville. Hello, Jim.
Hello, boys.
Hi.
Listen, this isn't it's not a perfect trade. There's not a perfect trade that exists out there. I think we need to lower our expectations of what Darius Garland is. He's a wonderful player. He's a wonderful kid. The problem is he hasn't been healthy in all these years. He's got what I consider now a congenital foot problem that God only knows if it's going to ever heal.
I don't like that term. Can we get rid of that term? I don't like that term.
Okay, a recurring foot injury.
There we go.
What was so hard with that?
Chronic foot problem.
Yeah, what was so hard about that?
Okay, fine, chronic. But we never know. We never know if he's probably not going to be healthy. What do you think you're going to get in return for him? He's got a big contract that goes on for a lot of years. Harden's contract, you can get out of probably next year. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Does it suck to get kind of a guy that's got all the baggage that Harden does? If for a guy who's a really, really good kid, yeah, it sucks. But we need to get over this idea that Darius Garland's this superstar in the waiting. He's been in the league forever, guys. And, I mean, you've watched him. He hasn't been healthy since he's been a rookie. He's either got a broken face or a broken foot. So I think you got to make a decision at some point and take your medicine. And I think this might be let me ask you two, what exactly do you think's out there that this year or next year you can get back for Darius Garland? Because in my mind, he's not part of the future because of his health issues.
Honestly, I think this is as good as you're going to get, buddy.
Well, sometimes you got to close your eyes and do it, Ken. You know that from being a kid.
What the hell does that mean?
Come on, Kenny. That Shane Bush did a lot more than shame.
Oh, come on. I mean, I had fun in that. And if you're asking me about that, Jim, thank you very much for the call. I mean, I had fun in them woods. I have memories in them woods I can't share on the air. But, I mean, come on. 216-474-0092. Come on. Let's keep it above board.
Come on. It's big stuff going on.
Correct?
All right, I'm going to put Ken in Brooklyn on.
Correct.
Hello.
Correct.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
The mayor says X-nay.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
The board up says X-nay.
I thought he liked point guards. James Harden's going down in history as one of the great point guards in NBA history. He's a 3-time scoring champ as a point guard. All NBA. 8 All-Star games. By the way, he's
probably would have been the best color of the day, too. That's the disappointment.
Is it because the pig Latin? You get rid of him because pig Latin? You're not a big pig Latin guy.
I say regular Latin or no Latin at all.
You've been consistent with that. I will say.
Mayor.
James Harden, third current playoff wins in the NBA of any player behind Al Horford and LeBron James. He's fourth, I think, in minutes. He's third in scoring, third in assists.
Cam in Cleveland, hello.
What year is this? Is we really talking about James Harden?
Hell yeah, we are.
Okay, we talking about James Harden, but what we've been knowing for the last 3 years.
Your Google Maps. Wants to get in on the discussion. Let's ask the Waze app what he thinks.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Does he think we have a more direct path to the finals with James Harden?
In 400 feet, turn left to NBA Finals.
Or right to the Cuyahoga River, right off the road.
Turn right to play-in tournament.
Do you go with the female voice or do you go with the male voice? What do you want?
How do you switch voices?
Oh, you could switch it.
I don't know. I had one that sounded like Double A for about a week, and I about lost it.
Well, what's the one? Hey, when you have a Alexa, I had one where I was making the whole home
you
announcements.
Just say Alexa, play 92.3 The Fan,
and I was like, Alexa, make a whole, and somehow it updated, and it won't use our voices.
Of course.
Like I was like, hey, get down here and get this trash outside now. And that's how I sound talking to my sons. And that means get your ass down here and take out this trash. Now it's just room from Dovey office. Please come down and take out the trash. And it bleeps itself. So I'll be like, take this effing trash out now. And it bleeps it. I'm like, what? No.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
There's no feeling here. They got to hear my voice.
Got to get Alexa after dark.
Randy Buffington.
Can't play that song anymore. I got popped.
We can't do it?
No.
All right.
Are you serious?
We got to get a different one.
There's got to be.
No Randy Buffington?
There's got to be easy. There's got to be easy porn music that we can put out there.
Jack, we're talking about our porn music.
No, this is Josh.
Oh, Josh.
Josh and Maria.
No,
this is Lawrence.
Well, that's good. Hey.
Go ahead, Josh.
I love to hear the Randy Buffington reference.
Up, Scotty? What's up, my man?
I'm doing my own thing now, Josh. You can be quiet.
Bud, you should probably know what you're talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Josh and Maria. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Cool. Wow. Yeah, this trade would be awful. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if you guys are just looking for, desperation trades, that's fine. But you know what this reminds me of? You mentioned it earlier, Ken. You were talking about, late nights at Trevani's with wet, sloppy steaks, And you know what they say about having those good nights, right?
What?
It seems like Dan Gilbert walked in the building and saying, hey, I used to be a
Can't say that.
Can't say that.
No. Can't say it.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
You sure about that? You sure about that? That's why?
We'll get bad. They're going to be, cease and desist. No one do that.
I can't believe we lost the Buffington rights.
We used to be a proper country.
It's not slick back.
It used to be a proper country. Now everybody's, can't use this.
We'll get a new one in here. We'll bring it back.
You gotta find some new slick porn music.
Yeah.
Big thanks to everybody who joined us today.
What a show. Who would have thought James Harden in the year 2026 would hijack a sports talk radio show? When our quarterback is going to be participating
Pro Bowl games,
in
boys.
the Pro Bowl games.
Pro Bowl games. It is your duty as a sports talk radio show host.
You know what? You got me into it. I'm going to watch it.
No, you're not.
Sorry, JB Bickerstaff against the Denver Nuggets. You got me. I'm going to watch. Maybe I'll do a live stream.
You also have a...
You want to get popped? Yeah, go put an NFL product on a live stream. I'll see you in a decade.
We got a Browns head coach speaking in just over 2 hours.
Oh my God! Totally forgot.
Right. Yeah. Todd Monken live noon. Maybe James Harden tomorrow. Fan. Bye. Hey, sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool. I got on the last show.
Oh boy!
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Call it an understatement. Justin Jefferson says the Vikings likely would have been better if Sam Darnold stayed.